Imagine standing at the crossroads of your dreams and your doubts. The world around you seems to shout, "It cannot be done yet." Within you, a quiet voice whispers, "It is already yours." This is the art of believing beyond reason, of stepping into a reality that is unseen but undeniably real. Imagination is the seed of reality. This simple yet profound truth holds the key to understanding how life unfolds. Every great invention, every monumental breakthrough, every life-changing decision originates as a spark of imagination. It is through this faculty that we create, transform, and bring into existence that which was once invisible. Imagination is not just a fleeting daydream, it is the womb of reality, the sacred space where desires take root and begin their journey into the tangible world. When we consider the concept of imagination, it is tempting to dismiss it as mere fantasy, a harmless indulgence that has no bearing on the real world. Yet history tells a different story. Every skyscraper that pierces the sky, every symphony that stirs the soul, every cure that saves a life was once an idea in someone's mind. The world we experience today is a tapestry woven from the threads of countless imaginations. Nothing exists in the physical realm that did not first exist as a vision, a thought, or a feeling within the mind of its creator. This truth applies not only to great inventors, artists, and thinkers, but to every individual. Each of us is endowed with this creative faculty, a gift that allows us to shape our lives in extraordinary ways. However, the challenge lies in understanding the power of imagination and learning to wield it consciously. Most people use their imagination unconsciously, allowing it to be dominated by fear, doubt, and negative expectations. They envision worst-case scenarios, dwell on failures, and rehearse the very outcomes they wish to avoid. This misuse of imagination sows seeds of despair and frustration, yielding a harvest of unwanted circumstances. To harness the true potential of imagination, we must first recognize it as the seed of reality. Just as a seed contains the blueprint for a towering oak or a vibrant rose, so too does imagination carry the blueprint for the life we wish to live. But a seed does not grow without care. It must be planted in fertile soil, nurtured with water and sunlight, and protected from weeds that threaten to choke its growth. Similarly, our imaginative visions must be cultivated with belief, nourished with feelings of certainty, and shielded from the doubts and distractions that seek to undermine them. The process begins with clarity. To plant a seed, we must know what we wish to grow. Vague or scattered desires yield little. It is the focused, specific vision that takes root most effectively. What do you truly desire? What life do you wish to create? Be bold in your imagining, for there are no limits to what you can conceive. The mind does not differentiate between what is realistic and what is unrealistic. It simply responds to the images and feelings you feed it, working tirelessly to bring them to fruition. Once the seed is planted, the next step is to nurture it with feeling. Imagination without emotion is like a seed without water. It remains dormant, inert. To activate the creative power of your imagination, you must feel as though your desire is already fulfilled. This is not mere wishful thinking. It is an intentional act of aligning your inner state with the reality you wish to experience. When you vividly imagine and deeply feel the reality of your desire, you are sending out a signal that the universe cannot ignore. The journey from seed to reality is not always instantaneous. Patience and persistence are essential. Just as a farmer does not dig up a seed every day to check its progress, neither should we doubt the process of creation. Trust in the unseen forces at work. Trust that the seed of your imagination is growing, even when there is no visible evidence. The most magnificent transformations often occur beneath the surface, in silence and stillness. Imagination also requires protection. The world is full of distractions, naysayers, and circumstances that may tempt you to abandon your vision. These are the weeds that threaten to stifle your imagination. Guard your mind against negativity. Surround yourself with people, environments, and influences that uplift and inspire you. Remind yourself daily of your vision, reaffirming your commitment to it. The more you nurture and protect your imagination, the more powerfully it will manifest. It is important to note that imagination is not limited by the boundaries of logic or reason. It transcends the constraints of the physical world, allowing you to explore possibilities that may seem impossible. This is its greatest gift. Logic is bound by what is imagination is free to envision what can be. When you dare to imagine beyond the evidence of your senses, you are planting seeds for miracles. In this process, imagination becomes not just a tool, but a way of life. It shifts your perspective, enabling you to see the world not as it is but as it could be. It fills you with a sense of possibility, a quiet assurance that you hold the power to create your destiny. The more you practice using your imagination consciously, the more natural it becomes, and the more effortlessly your desires flow into your experience. Imagination is the bridge between the seen and the unseen, the known and the unknown, the present and the future. It is the divine faculty through which we co-create with the universe, transforming thought into matter, desire into reality. To embrace this truth is to reclaim your creative power. Your imagination is a garden waiting to be cultivated, a field brimming with infinite potential. Plant your seeds wisely, tend them with care, and watch as they blossom into the life of your dreams. The world you see around you is not separate from you. It is a mirror reflecting the state of your inner world. Every thought you think, every belief you hold, and every feeling you nurture casts its shadow upon the external reality you call life. This connection between the inner and outer worlds is absolute, unwavering, and inescapable. It is not fate or chance that governs your experiences, but the invisible currents of your mind. To understand this is to hold the key to transforming your life from the inside out. Most people live as though the external world dictates their reality. They react to circumstances, blame conditions, and believe themselves powerless to influence their lives. Yet, this is a profound misunderstanding of how life works. The outer world is merely the effect, the cause lies within. Change the cause, and the effect must follow. This is not wishful thinking or philosophical abstraction, it is a fundamental law of existence. Consider the mind as the projector and the world as the screen. What you project onto the screen of life is determined by the film running in the projector, that is, the images and beliefs in your consciousness. If you desire to see a different picture on the screen, you must change the film. It is futile to manipulate the screen itself, for it only reflects what is being projected. Similarly, it is futile to attempt to change your life by focusing solely on external conditions. True change begins within. Your inner world comprises your thoughts, beliefs, and emotions, and these elements work together to create your experiences. Thoughts are the building blocks, forming the structure of your reality. A persistent thought, repeated with conviction, becomes a belief. Beliefs, in turn, act as filters, coloring your perception of the world and influencing your actions. Emotions infuse these thoughts and beliefs with energy, turning them into powerful magnets that draw corresponding experiences into your life. When your inner world is harmonious, your outer world reflects that harmony. You attract relationships, opportunities, and circumstances that align with your sense of peace and purpose. Conversely, when your inner world is chaotic, dominated by fear, doubt, and negativity, your outer world mirrors that chaos. The principle is simple: what you nurture within, you will encounter without. To transform your life, you must first become a master gardener of your inner world. This begins with awareness. Pay attention to the thoughts you think habitually, the beliefs you hold as truth, and the emotions you entertain. Are they aligned with the life you desire, or do they contradict it? Often people discover that their inner dialogue is dominated by self-doubt, criticism, and limitation. These mental habits are like weeds, choking the growth of your dreams. The next step is to consciously choose your thoughts and beliefs. This is not a matter of pretending or suppressing negativity, but of replacing it with a more empowering narrative. When a limiting thought arises, challenge it. Replace it with a thought that aligns with your desired reality. Over time, this practice reshapes your belief system, creating a fertile ground for your dreams to grow. Emotions play a crucial role in this process. They are the fuel that powers your creative engine. When you feel joy, gratitude, and love, you emit a vibration that attracts corresponding experiences. Conversely, emotions like fear, anger, and despair lower your vibration, drawing experiences that match those feelings. To shift your emotional state, focus on what brings you joy. Engage in activities that uplift your spirit and practice gratitude for the blessings you already have. Gratitude is particularly potent, for it aligns you with abundance and opens the door to greater blessings. Visualization is another powerful tool for shaping your inner world. Close your eyes and imagine the life you wish to create. See it clearly in vivid detail, as though it is already yours. Feel the emotions of fulfillment, success, and happiness. The more real it feels in your imagination, the more powerfully it influences your inner state. Visualization is not about escaping reality, but about creating it. By holding a clear and consistent vision in your mind, you set the stage for its manifestation. The outer world will inevitably reflect your inner changes, but the process requires patience and persistence. Just as a seed takes time to grow into a tree, your inner transformation may not yield immediate results. Trust in the process. Do not be swayed by temporary appearances, for they are merely echoes of your past state of mind. Hold steadfastly to your vision, and the outer world will catch up. This principle applies to every area of life: relationships, career, health, and personal growth. If you seek love, cultivate love within yourself. If you desire abundance, adopt a mindset of abundance. If you wish for peace, create peace in your thoughts and emotions. The outer world cannot give you what you are unwilling to give yourself. Your inner world is your sanctuary, your workshop, your sacred space. Guard it with vigilance, nurture it with care, and use it wisely. When you take full responsibility for your inner state, you reclaim your power to shape your life. No longer a victim of circumstance, you become the creator of your destiny. The world you see is not separate from you, it is you. Change within, and the world will change with you. Faith is the invisible thread that connects your inner vision to the outer world. It is the bridge between the unseen realm of imagination and the tangible reality you seek to create. Without faith, imagination remains a seed that is never nurtured, a dream that never ventures beyond the confines of the mind. Faith gives imagination its wings, transforming it from a fleeting thought into a lived experience. Faith is not mere hope or blind optimism. It is a deep, unwavering conviction that what you imagine is not only possible but inevitable. It is the quiet assurance that the unseen is as real as the seen, and the unmanifested is already on its way to becoming. Faith does not rely on evidence or external validation. It moves in spite of appearances, choosing to believe in the reality of the vision even when all reason denies it. This is why faith is so powerful. It operates beyond the limitations of the senses and logic. The senses tell you what is, faith tells you what can be. Logic confines you to the realm of what seems achievable. Faith expands your vision to encompass the miraculous. When you possess true faith, you no longer question whether your desire will come to pass. You live as though it already has, and in doing so, you align yourself with its reality. Faith is the active principle that energizes your imagination. When you imagine a desired outcome, faith breathes life into that image, infusing it with the substance needed to take form. Without faith, imagination is like a flame without fuel. It may flicker for a moment, but will soon die out. With faith, that flame becomes a roaring fire, consuming doubt and lighting the path to your dreams. The power of faith lies in its ability to hold steady, even in the face of challenges. Life often tests your faith with delays, setbacks, and appearances that contradict your vision. These are not signs that your faith is misplaced, they are opportunities to deepen it. True faith remains unshaken by temporary circumstances, knowing that these are but fleeting shadows compared to the enduring reality of the vision. Faith also demands action. To truly believe in your vision is to act as though it is already realized. This does not mean forcing or striving, but aligning your thoughts, words, and actions with the reality you are creating. If you believe in abundance, let your actions reflect generosity and confidence. If you believe in love, embody kindness and understanding. If you believe in success, approach each day with purpose and determination. Faith without action is like a seed left unplanted. It holds potential, but produces no harvest. Faith requires trust not just in the process, but in yourself. You must trust that the vision within you is divinely inspired, that your desires are not random but intentional. You must trust that the same power that placed the desire in your heart also provides the means to fulfill it. When doubt arises, remind yourself that the process of creation is not yours to control, it is yours to believe in. Your role is to imagine, feel, and act in alignment, leaving the details of manifestation to the infinite intelligence that governs all things. Faith is not an emotion that comes and goes, it is a choice you make daily. Each moment offers you the opportunity to reaffirm your belief or to give in to doubt. The more you choose faith, the stronger it becomes, until it becomes a natural part of who you are. Faith is a muscle that grows with use, and with time, it becomes the foundation upon which your life is built. When faith is strong, obstacles lose their power to discourage. You no longer see delays as denials, but as part of the unfolding process. You trust that every step, no matter how small or insignificant it seems, is bringing you closer to your vision. Faith allows you to move forward with confidence, even when the path is unclear, knowing that each step will reveal the next. Faith is the bridge that allows you to walk from imagination to reality. It connects the inner and outer worlds, making the invisible visible and the impossible possible. Faith is not a passive belief, but an active force, a commitment to your vision that transcends doubt, fear, and uncertainty. When you nurture your imagination with unwavering faith, you align yourself with the creative power of the universe, and the life you desire becomes not just a possibility, but a certainty. Imagination, no matter how vivid, and faith, no matter how unwavering, require persistence to bring their fruits into reality. The process of creation is rarely instantaneous, it unfolds in its own perfect time. Persistence is the bridge that keeps you connected to your vision when the world around you offers no evidence of its arrival. It is the quiet, steadfast resolve to remain faithful to your inner reality, no matter how long it takes to materialize. The journey of manifestation often tests your patience and determination. There will be moments when progress feels slow or non-existent, when doubt whispers that your efforts are in vain. These moments are not failures but part of the natural rhythm of creation. Like seeds planted in the soil, your desires must go through an unseen phase of growth before they can bloom. It is during this phase that persistence becomes your greatest ally. Persistence is not about forcing or striving, it is about remaining aligned with your vision in thought, feeling, and action. It is about returning to your imagination each day, reinforcing your faith, and acting as though your desire is already fulfilled. It is a quiet but powerful commitment to the truth of your inner world, even when the outer world suggests otherwise. To persist is to trust the process. The universe operates on laws that are precise and unerring. Just as a farmer trusts that a seed will sprout when given time and care, you must trust that your desires will come to fruition when you remain consistent in your belief and action. Doubt and impatience disrupt this process, like digging up a seed to check if it is growing. Persistence, on the other hand, creates a steady flow of energy that supports the manifestation of your vision. Persistence requires discipline over your thoughts, emotions, and reactions. It means refusing to entertain doubt, fear, or negativity, no matter how tempting they may be. It means turning away from appearances that contradict your vision and focusing instead on the reality you are creating. This discipline is not about suppression, but about choice, the choice to prioritize your inner truth over external distractions. One of the greatest challenges to persistence is the influence of others. Well-meaning friends, family, or society may question your vision, pointing to evidence that it is unrealistic or unattainable. They may try to impose their limitations on you, not out of malice but out of their own fear and doubt. In these moments, persistence means holding on to your vision with even greater determination. It means trusting your inner guidance above all external voices. Persistence also requires adaptability. The path to your desire may not unfold exactly as you imagined. There may be detours, delays, or unexpected challenges. These are not signs that you are off track, they are opportunities to grow, learn, and refine your vision. Persistence means staying committed to the end result while being flexible in your approach. It means trusting that the universe knows the best way to bring your desire to you, even if it looks different from what you initially envisioned. Celebrate small victories along the way. Each step forward, no matter how small, is evidence that your persistence is paying off. These moments of progress fuel your motivation and reinforce your belief in the process. Acknowledge them with gratitude, for they are signs that the seeds you have planted are beginning to sprout. Persistence is a quiet strength. It does not shout or demand, it simply endures. It is the force that keeps you moving forward when the journey feels long, the light that guides you when the path grows dim. Persistence does not waver in the face of setbacks or discouragement. It holds steadfast to the vision, knowing that what is seen in the mind must eventually be seen in the world. Through persistence, you demonstrate your commitment to your vision and your trust in the creative process. You show the universe that you are serious about your desires, that you are willing to remain faithful to them no matter what. This steadfast energy aligns you with the flow of creation, ensuring that your vision will manifest in perfect timing. Persistence is not a burden but a joy. It is the act of nurturing your dreams, of staying connected to your inner truth, and of watching with anticipation as your desires take shape. It is the quiet, steady force that transforms imagination and faith into reality. In the end, persistence is not just the key to manifestation, it is the essence of mastery. Through it, you prove to yourself and the world that you are not a victim of circumstance, but a creator of your destiny. To manifest your desires, you must embody the state of fulfillment, as though your dream has already come to pass. This is the ultimate act of alignment between your inner world and the reality you wish to create. The secret lies in living from your desire, not merely thinking about it or wishing for it. When you align your thoughts, feelings, and actions with the reality you seek, you invite that reality to unfold effortlessly in your life. To embody the state of fulfillment is to feel, in this very moment, the emotions you would experience if your desire were already a fact. If you long for love, feel the warmth and joy of being loved now. If you desire success, walk with the confidence of someone who has already achieved it. If you seek peace, breathe deeply and immerse yourself in its stillness. By aligning your emotional state with the end you desire, you activate the creative power within you to bring it forth. Your subconscious mind cannot distinguish between what is imagined and what is real. When you assume the state of fulfillment, your subconscious accepts it as truth and begins to work tirelessly to align your outer world with this new reality. This process does not rely on force or effort, but on the natural laws of creation. Your state of being becomes a magnet, drawing to you the circumstances, people, and opportunities that resonate with your inner condition. This embodiment requires a shift in identity. You must see yourself not as someone who is striving for a goal, but as someone who already possesses it. Instead of asking, when will it happen or how will it come to me? Declare that it is already yours. Speak, think, and act from the perspective of the person you wish to be. This shift in identity creates a powerful alignment between your current self and the version of you that lives in the reality you desire. Living in the state of fulfillment also means releasing attachment to the outcome. When you truly feel that your desire is already fulfilled, there is no need to grasp or chase after it. You do not beg for what you already have. This sense of detachment allows the manifestation process to flow naturally, free from the resistance created by anxiety or impatience. Doubt and fear may arise, tempting you to revert to old patterns of thinking and feeling. In these moments, remind yourself of the truth the reality you wish to create is already present within you. Use tools such as visualization, affirmations, and meditation to anchor yourself in the state of fulfillment. These practices help you return to the feeling of your wish fulfilled, reinforcing the inner conviction that your desire is already a fact. Consistency is key. To embody the state of fulfillment, you must practice it daily, moment by moment, until it becomes second nature. This does not mean suppressing your current emotions or pretending that challenges do not exist. Instead, it means consciously choosing to return to the feeling of fulfillment whenever you find yourself drifting into doubt or fear. Over time, this practice reshapes your inner world, creating a new baseline of belief and expectation. The outer world may not immediately reflect your inner transformation, but this does not mean that nothing is happening. Manifestation often occurs in unseen ways, with changes happening behind the scenes before they become visible. Trust that the process is unfolding perfectly and continue to embody the state of fulfillment with unwavering faith. Embodying the state of fulfillment is about becoming the creator of your reality rather than a passive observer. It is about stepping into your power and claiming your birthright as a co-creator with the universe. When you live from the state of your wish fulfilled, you align yourself with the infinite possibilities of life, transforming imagination into reality and dreams into destiny. The power of assumption is one of the most transformative principles in the journey of creation and manifestation. At its core, it is the understanding that the reality you experience is a direct reflection of the assumptions you hold. An assumption is more than a fleeting thought, it is a deeply ingrained belief about yourself, others, and the world. It is the lens through which you interpret life, and it shapes your experiences with remarkable precision. What you assume to be true, whether consciously or unconsciously, sets the foundation for your reality. When you assume success, opportunities seem to arise effortlessly. When you assume failure, obstacles appear at every turn. The external world mirrors the internal state of your mind, as though it were a faithful servant responding to the commands you issue through your assumptions. This is not a matter of wishful thinking, but a profound law of creation that governs every aspect of existence. Assumption begins with imagination. The mind is the fertile ground where all assumptions are formed. What you vividly imagine and accept as true creates a blueprint for your life. If you repeatedly see yourself as confident, capable, and abundant, you assume these qualities as part of your identity. Over time, this inner conviction crystallizes into your external reality. The mind does not discriminate between what is real and what is imagined. It responds to the clarity and intensity of the image you hold. To harness the power of assumption, you must become deliberate in your thinking. Many people live as victims of their circumstances, unaware that they perpetuate their struggles through unconscious assumptions. They accept lack, limitation, and struggle as inevitable truths, reinforcing these experiences in their lives. The first step to change is awareness, recognizing the assumptions that dominate your thoughts and understanding how they influence your reality. Once you identify limiting assumptions, you can replace them with empowering ones. This process requires intention and discipline. Begin by choosing a specific desire or goal and crafting an assumption that aligns with its fulfillment. For instance, if you seek love, assume that you are deeply loved and cherished. If you desire success, assume that opportunities flow to you effortlessly. This assumption must be felt as true, not merely thought about. The power lies in embodying the feeling of the fulfilled desire, as though it were already a fact. The feeling is the secret to making an assumption effective. The mind is not moved by empty words or superficial affirmations, it responds to the emotional conviction behind them. When you assume your desire is already yours, you generate a sense of certainty and gratitude. This emotional alignment sends a powerful signal to the subconscious mind, which begins to reorganize your reality to match the assumption. It draws the people, events, and circumstances necessary for your desire to manifest. This principle is most effective when applied persistently. Assumptions, like seeds, require time to grow. You may not see immediate evidence of change, but this does not mean the process is not working. It is during these moments of apparent stagnation that faith is crucial. Trust that the new assumption is taking root, even if the outer world seems unchanged. Continue to dwell in the feeling of the fulfilled desire, knowing that it is only a matter of time before it becomes visible. Doubt and resistance are natural challenges in this process. The mind may revert to old patterns of thinking, questioning the validity of the new assumption. These moments are opportunities for growth. Instead of giving in to doubt, reaffirm your assumption with even greater conviction. Use tools such as visualization affirmations, and meditation to anchor yourself in the state of your fulfilled desire. Over time, this practice rewires your subconscious mind, making the new assumption a natural part of your belief system. The beauty of the power of assumption is its simplicity. You do not need to rely on external forces, elaborate rituals, or arduous effort to change your reality. All you need is the ability to assume and feel the reality you desire. This principle is available to everyone, regardless of their circumstances. It is not bound by logic or limitations. It operates in the realm of infinite possibility. Assumption also requires a willingness to let go of the how. When you assume your desire is already fulfilled, you release the need to control the details of its manifestation. This surrender allows the universe to work on your behalf, orchestrating events in ways you could not have imagined. Trust that the process is unfolding perfectly, even if it does not follow the timeline or method you expected. The more you release attachment to the outcome, the more effortlessly your assumption will materialize. The power of assumption is about reclaiming your creative authority. It is a reminder that you are not a passive participant in life, but an active creator. Your assumptions shape your experiences, and by choosing them consciously, you can transform every aspect of your reality. The world responds not to what you want, but to what you assume to be true. By assuming the best, you open the door to a life of infinite possibilities, where your desires are not distant dreams, but living realities. Doubt is the silent saboteur of creation. It undermines the foundation of belief and disrupts the flow of manifestation. When you hold a vision, an idea, or a desire, it requires unwavering conviction to bring it into reality. Doubt, however, acts as a counterforce, pulling you away from the state of certainty required for creation to thrive. It whispers questions of what if and how, shaking the confidence necessary to manifest your goals. To understand doubt's impact is to recognize why it must be consciously replaced with trust and faith. Doubt arises from fear and a reliance on external evidence. When you cannot see immediate results, the mind begins to question whether your efforts are worthwhile. It clings to the logic of the material world, asking for proof before it will believe. But the process of creation does not operate on evidence, it operates on conviction. It demands that you first believe, even in the absence of tangible signs, and allow the evidence to follow. Doubt interrupts this sequence, placing the demand for validation ahead of belief and halting the flow of manifestation. Every thought and feeling you entertain carries a vibrational frequency, shaping your reality. When you dwell in faith, you emit a signal of confidence and alignment, drawing experiences that resonate with your desires. Doubt, however, introduces discord into this frequency. It creates a state of internal conflict, where your desire and disbelief battle for dominance. This conflict weakens your focus and scatters your creative energy, delaying or even preventing the manifestation of your goal. Doubt often disguises itself as practicality or caution. It convinces you to play small, to hedge your bets, and to prepare for disappointment. While prudence has its place in certain aspects of life, doubt in the realm of creation is always counterproductive. It anchors you to the status quo, making it impossible to rise above current circumstances. True creation requires a leap of faith, a willingness to trust in the unseen, and to hold steadfast to your vision despite appearances. To overcome doubt, you must first understand its source. It stems from a belief in separation, the idea that you and your desire are apart, that the forces necessary for its fulfillment lie beyond your control. This illusion creates anxiety and uncertainty, causing you to question your power as a creator. The antidote to doubt is the realization that creation is an inside-out process. You are not waiting for the external world to grant you permission to succeed. The power lies within you to assume and embody your desired state, allowing the outer world to follow suit. The process of overcoming doubt begins with awareness. Acknowledge its presence without judgment, understanding that it is a natural part of the human experience. Resistance to doubt only amplifies its power. Acceptance, on the other hand, creates space for transformation. Once you recognize doubt for what it is, a temporary state of mind, you can consciously choose to replace it with faith. Faith is not blind optimism or the denial of challenges. It is the inner knowing that your vision is already accomplished. It is the calm assurance that the creative process is always at work, even when the results are not yet visible. Faith does not require proof or external validation. It thrives in the unseen, trusting that the desired outcome is on its way. By cultivating faith, you neutralize the energy of doubt and restore alignment with your creative power. Visualization is a powerful tool for overcoming doubt. When you vividly imagine your desire as already fulfilled, you immerse yourself in the feeling of accomplishment. This emotional resonance strengthens your belief and diminishes the influence of doubt. Repetition is key. Return to your vision daily, allowing it to become more real in your mind than any contradictory external circumstance. Affirmations also serve as an effective counter to doubt. By repeating statements that reinforce your belief in your vision, you reprogram your subconscious mind to align with your desired outcome. These affirmations must be spoken with conviction and feeling, as their power lies in the emotional charge they carry. For example, instead of saying, "I hope I achieve this," declare, "I am already living my desired reality." Another critical practice is detachment from the outcome. When you cling too tightly to your desire, you create resistance born of fear and impatience. Detachment does not mean giving up on your goal. It means trusting the process and releasing the need to control every detail. This surrender allows the creative forces of the universe to work on your behalf, unimpeded by the interference of doubt. Surrounding yourself with positivity and inspiration also helps fortify your belief. Seek out stories of others who have achieved what you desire, letting their success remind you of what is possible. Avoid environments or conversations that feed doubt, and instead immerse yourself in affirming and empowering influences. Persistence is essential. Doubt may not disappear overnight, but with consistent effort, you can weaken its grip. Each time you choose faith over fear, you strengthen your creative power. Over time, doubt will lose its influence, replaced by an unshakable conviction in your ability to shape your reality. In the absence of doubt, creation flows effortlessly. Your vision becomes clear, your energy aligns, and the universe responds with precision. The journey to manifestation is no longer a struggle, but a harmonious unfolding. By replacing doubt with faith, you reclaim your role as a deliberate creator, transforming your desires into living reality. To ignore the evidence of the senses is to step into a realm of creation, where the seen gives way to the unseen, and the material world becomes a reflection of inner conviction. The senses, though invaluable for navigating the physical world, are limited in their ability to comprehend the vast, infinite power of imagination and belief. They tether us to what is, and often blind us to what could be. To manifest your desires and live a life beyond the constraints of your current reality, you must learn to look past the immediate evidence of the senses and trust in the unseen power of your inner world. The senses report only what exists now. They are the chroniclers of the past, for everything you see, hear, touch, taste, or smell in the present moment is the result of previous thoughts, beliefs, and actions. They do not reveal the potential of what you can create. If you allow yourself to be guided solely by what the senses present, you become trapped in a loop, perpetually recreating the same circumstances. True transformation requires the courage to look beyond what is and focus on what you desire to bring into being. Ignoring the evidence of the senses does not mean denying reality or rejecting the material world. It means refusing to let external appearances dictate your inner state. For instance, if you desire abundance, but your current circumstances reflect lack, dwelling on what the senses show will only reinforce the feeling of scarcity. Instead, you must turn inward, using imagination and belief to align yourself with the reality you wish to create. By assuming the feeling of your desire fulfilled, you plant the seed of its manifestation, regardless of the evidence around you. This principle is not a rejection of logic, but an acknowledgement of a higher order of reality. The senses operate within the realm of the known, while creation occurs in the realm of the unknown. To manifest something new, you must step beyond the limitations of logic and embrace the power of imagination. Imagination is the bridge between the seen and the unseen, the finite and the infinite. It allows you to envision possibilities that transcend your current circumstances, making the impossible possible. Faith plays a crucial role in ignoring the evidence of the senses. Faith is the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things not seen. It is the conviction that your desire is already a reality, even when there is no physical proof. Faith is not blind belief, but a deep inner knowing that what you hold in your mind and heart will inevitably materialize. By cultivating faith, you anchor yourself in the reality of your desire, rendering the current evidence of the senses irrelevant. This process requires persistence and discipline. The senses are loud and insistent, constantly drawing your attention to the present moment. It is easy to become discouraged when your outer reality contradicts your inner vision. However, this is precisely when you must stand firm in your belief. The gap between your desire and its manifestation is a test of your commitment to the creative process. Each time you choose to focus on your vision rather than your circumstances, you strengthen your ability to ignore the evidence of the senses and align with the reality you wish to create. Visualization is a powerful tool for this purpose. By vividly imagining your desire as already fulfilled, you shift your focus from what is to what can be. When done with feeling and conviction, visualization creates a mental image so real that it begins to override the evidence of the senses. The subconscious mind, which cannot distinguish between real and imagined experiences, accepts this image as truth and works to bring it into physical form. The more you practice visualization, the easier it becomes to ignore the present evidence and live in the reality of your desired outcome. Another essential practice is gratitude. By expressing gratitude for your desire as though it is already fulfilled, you affirm your belief in its manifestation. Gratitude shifts your focus from lack to abundance, creating a sense of fulfillment that magnetizes your desire into being. It also reinforces the idea that your desire is not something distant or unattainable, but a present reality that is unfolding in divine timing. Detachment is equally important. Ignoring the evidence of the senses does not mean obsessing over your desire or constantly looking for signs of its manifestation. True detachment is the ability to trust the process and let go of the need to control the outcome. When you detach, you release the resistance created by doubt and impatience, allowing the creative forces of the universe to work on your behalf. Surrounding yourself with positivity and inspiration also helps maintain your focus. Seek out stories of others who have successfully manifested their desires despite overwhelming evidence to the contrary. Let their journeys remind you of the power of belief and the limitless potential of creation. Avoid negativity and skepticism, which only reinforce the evidence of the senses and weaken your resolve. Ignoring the evidence of the senses is not about escaping reality, but about reshaping it. It is about recognizing that the external world is a mirror of your inner state, and that change begins within. By refusing to be swayed by appearances and instead anchoring yourself in the reality of your desire, you become the master of your destiny. The senses may tell you what is, but your imagination and belief tell you what can be. Trust in the unseen, hold fast to your vision, and watch as the evidence of the senses transforms to reflect the reality you have created. Speaking as if it were already done is one of the most powerful principles in the art of creation. It requires a deliberate choice to align your words with the reality you desire to manifest, rather than with the current circumstances visible to your senses. Words carry immense power. They shape your beliefs, influence your emotions, and communicate to the universe the state of being you have chosen to embody. When you speak as though your desire is already accomplished, you affirm its existence and anchor yourself in the reality of its fulfillment. The act of speaking in the present tense about something you wish to manifest is not about pretending or lying to yourself. It is about stepping into the state of already having what you desire. This shift in language transforms your inner world, reshaping your thoughts and feelings to align with the outcome you seek. The subconscious mind, which governs much of your behavior and creates your reality, takes your words as truth. When you declare that something is already done, the subconscious begins to organize your actions and experiences to reflect that reality. Speaking as if it were already done also cultivates the feeling of fulfillment. Feelings are the fuel of creation. They amplify the vibrational frequency you emit and attract corresponding experiences. When you speak in the language of completion, saying, I am, I have, or it is done, you generate the emotions associated with having your desire. These feelings elevate your vibration, making you a magnet for the reality you wish to experience. This principle requires trust and faith. It is easy to speak from the evidence of your senses, to declare what you see and experience in the present moment. However, this perpetuates the status quo, as your words reinforce your current circumstances. To manifest something new, you must break free from this cycle and speak from the perspective of your desired outcome. This requires you to believe in the unseen and to trust that your words have the power to shape your reality. For example, if your desire is financial abundance, you must avoid statements like I am struggling or I don't have enough. Instead, speak in the language of abundance. I am financially free. I have everything I need and more, or wealth flows to me effortlessly. These declarations may feel unnatural at first, especially if your external reality contradicts them. But with practice, they become second nature and their power begins to manifest in your life. Consistency is key when speaking as if it were already done. Your words must align with your vision at all times, not just in moments of intentional focus. Casual conversations, inner dialogue, and even passing remarks must reflect the reality you wish to create. Each word you speak reinforces a belief system, either strengthening or weakening your ability to manifest. By consciously choosing language that affirms your desire, you build a foundation of belief that becomes unshakable over time. It is also important to embody the emotions behind your words. Speaking as if it were already done is not a mechanical process, it is a heartfelt expression of faith and certainty. When you say, I am healthy, feel the vitality coursing through your body. When you declare, I am loved, immerse yourself in the warmth and joy of being cherished. The combination of words and emotions creates a powerful resonance that accelerates the manifestation process. Doubt and negativity have no place in this practice. If you find yourself slipping into statements that contradict your desire, gently redirect your focus. Instead of saying, I hope this works, affirm, it is already working. Instead of lamenting, I don't see any changes, declare, change is happening now. Even if I can't see it yet. This shift in language not only strengthens your belief, but also keeps you aligned with the state of your desire. Visualization can amplify the effectiveness of speaking as if it were already done. As you declare your desire fulfilled, picture it vividly in your mind. See yourself living the reality you have spoken into existence. Combine your words with mental imagery to create a multisensory experience that impresses your subconscious with the certainty of your vision. The more real it feels in your imagination, the more powerfully it will manifest in your external world. Gratitude is another powerful tool to complement this practice. By expressing thanks for your desire as though it has already been fulfilled, you reinforce the state of having. Gratitude shifts your focus from lack to abundance, creating a sense of completion and satisfaction that magnetizes your desire to you. Begin and end each day with declarations of gratitude for your fulfilled vision, anchoring yourself in the reality you wish to create. Speaking as if it were already done is not a passive exercise. It requires boldness and confidence. It challenges you to rise above appearances and claim your role as the creator of your reality. It demands that you take ownership of your words and use them with intention and purpose. Each time you declare your desire fulfilled, you assert your creative power and strengthen your connection to the outcome you seek. The beauty of this practice lies in its simplicity. You do not need elaborate rituals or complex techniques. You only need your voice and the willingness to believe in the power of your words. Speak with conviction. Align your language with your vision and trust that what you declare is already done. In doing so, you shift from a state of wanting to a state of having, paving the way for your desires to manifest effortlessly into your life. Creation begins in the mind, for it is the mind that shapes, forms, and brings into existence the realities we experience. The external world is a reflection of the internal landscape. What you see, touch, and feel in your life is a direct result of the thoughts, beliefs, and imaginations that have been planted and nurtured in your mind. The power of the mind is often underestimated, yet it is the first and most essential tool in the process of creation. To change your life, you must first change your mind, for in the mind resides the potential to create the life you desire. The mind is a vast, fertile field, capable of generating endless possibilities. Every thought you have, whether conscious or subconscious, carries a vibrational energy that attracts experiences that match it. But this is the law of attraction in its purest form. What you focus on, you become. The more energy and attention you give to a particular thought or belief, the more real it becomes in your experience. Your mind does not distinguish between positive or negative thoughts. It simply manifests whatever it believes to be true. Therefore, if you are continually thinking about lack, struggle, or limitation, your mind will create situations that reflect those beliefs. Conversely, if you fill your mind with thoughts of abundance, health, love, and success, your life will shift to reflect those thoughts. Imagination is one of the most powerful tools the mind possesses. It is through imagination that we visualize and feel into the reality we desire. The more vividly and emotionally charged our imagination, the more real and tangible our desires become. Imagination allows you to transcend the limitations of the physical world and step into the realm of possibility. It provides the mental blueprint for what can be. Every invention, every great achievement, every masterpiece of art began as a thought in someone's mind. The mind creates first, and then the external world follows suit. If you can imagine it, you can create it. The key to creation lies not in merely imagining something once, but in consistently dwelling upon the vision until it becomes a living, breathing part of your being. This is where the power of belief comes into play. Belief is the engine that powers creation. What you believe in your mind will manifest in your life, for the mind does not question the validity of your beliefs, it simply acts on them. If you believe that you are destined for greatness, the mind will find ways to make that belief a reality. If you believe you are unworthy or incapable, your mind will create experiences that reinforce those limitations. The process of creation in the mind begins with setting a clear intention. To create something, you must first know what you want. This clarity acts as a guide, directing your thoughts and energy toward a specific goal or outcome. Once your intention is set, the mind begins to work on your behalf, aligning thoughts, feelings, and actions toward that goal. This is why it is so important to be specific in your desires. Vague desires result in vague outcomes. The more precise and clear you are about what you want to create, the more focused your mind becomes, and the quicker the universe aligns with your intention. After setting your intention, the next step is to persist in the mental creation. This means consistently thinking about and imagining your desired outcome, even when external circumstances suggest otherwise. The mind must be conditioned to hold the vision of what you want, and this requires practice. It is easy to become distracted by the evidence of the senses, the tangible reality that you see and hear around you. However, true creation requires a shift in focus, away from the physical world and toward the unseen, toward the world of thought and imagination. During this time of mental conditioning, it is essential to believe that your desire is already a reality. Speak and think as if it has already come to pass. When you speak of your desire as if it is already fulfilled, you send a message to your subconscious that it is so. This creates a powerful alignment between your conscious and subconscious minds, propelling your desires into reality. A common obstacle in the process of creation is doubt. Doubt arises when the external world does not immediately reflect the vision held in the mind. It is important to remember that doubt only weakens the creative process. When you doubt, you send mixed signals to your mind, creating confusion and resistance. The mind cannot create effectively when it is conflicted. This is why unwavering faith in the power of your mind is necessary. If you consistently hold the belief that your desires are already in motion, you maintain a positive flow of energy that supports creation. Patience is also essential when creation begins in the mind. Just as a seed must be nurtured before it can grow into a tree, your desires need time to manifest. The mind must be allowed to work through the layers of your current circumstances, dissolving old beliefs and creating new ones. The more persistent and patient you are with your mental creation, the sooner it will appear in physical form. Another powerful tool in this process is gratitude. Gratitude serves as a reminder to the mind that what you desire is already here, even if it has not yet manifested in the physical world. When you practice gratitude for your desires, as though they are already fulfilled, you align yourself with the frequency of having. This not only strengthens your belief, but also magnifies the creative power of your mind. Creation begins in the mind. The mind is the source of all reality, and what you think, feel, and believe shapes the life you experience. By using the power of intention, imagination, belief, and persistence, you can create anything you desire. The key is to remain consistent in your mental creation, to ignore the evidence of the senses, and to trust in the power of your mind. When you do this, your desires will inevitably manifest, for creation starts in the mind and then unfolds in the world around you. In conclusion, the power to shape and transform your reality lies within your mind. Every thought, belief, and feeling you hold has the potential to create the life you desire. By harnessing the power of imagination, assumption, and unwavering belief, you can bring forth the desires of your heart. Remember, creation begins in the mind, and what you focus on will inevitably manifest in your life. It is not a matter of waiting for circumstances to change. It is about changing your internal world first, and then watching as the external world follows suit. Trust the process, stay patient, and speak with confidence as if it is already done. Thank you for your time, and may you continue to create the life you envision with power and clarity. There comes a time in life when you must face the inevitable. Something ends. It could be a relationship, a chapter of your life, or a dream that no longer serves you. Let it end. Do not resist, for in the end, there is only space for something new. An end is not the finality we often perceive it to be, but the beginning of something better, something that is in alignment with your true self. There are moments in life when something must come to an end. It might be the end of a relationship, the closure of a chapter in your career, or the conclusion of a long-held dream that no longer aligns with who you are becoming. In these moments, the tendency is to fight against the inevitable, to cling to what we know, what we are comfortable with, and what feels safe. But there is a profound truth: every end is simply the beginning of something new. The key to transformation lies in how we respond to the end. When something ends, whether it's a significant part of your life or a fleeting moment, it's easy to fall into despair, loss, or regret. We fear the unknown that comes after, the empty space that seems to stretch before us. But if we take a step back and observe, we realize that it's precisely in this emptiness where new things can take shape. You see, endings don't signify an absence, they create an opportunity. In every ending lies the potential for rebirth and renewal. The past must make way for the future, and the only way to make room for what is meant to come is to embrace what has been. The first step in embracing the end is recognizing that endings are a natural part of the flow of life. Change is constant, and nothing stays the same forever. Every aspect of life, from seasons to relationships to our personal growth, operates on cycles. We live in a world where nothing is static. To cling to what is familiar is to deny the rhythm of life itself. We cannot grow if we refuse to let go of what no longer serves us. Each end, no matter how painful or difficult, is simply an invitation to evolve. When we resist the end, we resist change. We hold on to what's familiar, because it gives us a sense of control and security, but in doing so, we also limit ourselves. Holding on can cause us to miss out on the next step, the new chapter waiting for us. Just as the trees shed their leaves in the fall to prepare for new growth in the spring, we too must shed the things that no longer nurture us in order to allow new possibilities to take root. Embracing the end doesn't mean that you must forget what has happened or pretend that it didn't matter. No, the key is to honor the past for what it was and to accept that it has fulfilled its purpose. Often we are taught to hold on, to preserve the past, and to keep what we have at all costs. But growth requires space. It requires an openness to what lies ahead, even if it's unclear or unknown. By embracing the end, we allow ourselves the freedom to move forward without the weight of the past weighing us down. In many ways, endings are a form of surrender. Surrendering does not mean giving up or giving in. It means letting go of the attachment to the outcome. It's recognizing that what we have experienced has been enough, and now it's time to release it and trust that something greater is on the horizon. It's difficult to let go of something we've invested so much time, energy, and emotion into. However, it's important to understand that holding on often only prolongs the suffering. The act of surrender is not a sign of weakness, but of strength. It takes courage to release, to acknowledge that what we've had is no longer in alignment with who we are becoming. It is also crucial to understand that every end brings with it a lesson. The experiences we undergo, whether joyous or painful, are always contributing to our growth and evolution. Even in the most challenging of endings, there are invaluable lessons to be learned. We can either focus on the pain of the loss, or we can choose to look at what we have gained. Every relationship, every job, every dream has shaped us in some way, leaving us more refined, more aware, and more equipped for what is to come. In the face of an ending, it is natural to feel sadness, anger, or fear. These are all valid emotions. However, we must not let them keep us trapped in the past. By embracing the end, we are not denying our emotions, but rather giving ourselves permission to feel and move through them. It's okay to mourn what has been lost, but we must not let grief prevent us from seeing what is ahead. The beauty of life lies in its impermanence. Each experience, each phase, has a beginning and an end. The key is not to avoid or resist the end, but to acknowledge it, honor it, and allow it to be a part of the beautiful tapestry of your life. We can find peace in knowing that the universe, or whatever higher force we believe in, has a plan for us. What ends is simply part of the grand design. By embracing the end, we are making space for the next phase of our journey. Trust that the universe always moves us toward what is best for us, even if it doesn't always appear that way in the moment. There is a deeper understanding, a deeper knowing, that we are always being guided toward the fulfillment of our greatest potential. So, let the end come. Do not resist it. Do not fear it. Accept it, and in doing so, open yourself up to the new possibilities that await. Know that by embracing the end, you are embracing the process of life itself. You are acknowledging the fluidity of existence and the power you have to create the life that is meant for you. When something ends, remember it is not the end of everything. It is the beginning of a new chapter, a new opportunity for growth, and a new path leading you toward the life you were always meant to live. To truly experience the depth of our emotions, we must first allow ourselves to feel. Yet so often when faced with pain or hurt, we instinctively try to avoid it. We fear it, deny it, or suppress it in an effort to protect ourselves from the discomfort it brings. However, there is a profound truth that can bring about a transformation in how we view and process our emotions. Feeling the hurt without resistance is the key to healing. When something painful happens, whether it's the end of a relationship, a loss, or a failure, it's easy to want to push those feelings aside. Society tells us to move on or get over it quickly, and we are conditioned to believe that we must always be strong, always composed, and always in control. This mindset leads to a disconnect between our emotional world and our true selves. The result? We hide our hurt, ignoring its presence as though it's something shameful or weak. But the truth is, our hurt is not something to run from, it is something to experience. Pain is a natural and inevitable part of the human experience. Just as joy and love are a part of us, so too is pain. It is a vital and necessary emotion, for it alerts us to areas of our lives that need attention, change, or healing. Pain isn't a punishment, it is a messenger. It tells us when we are out of alignment with our true selves, when we are grieving something lost, or when we are experiencing deep disappointment. To resist the pain is to resist the very message it brings. When we resist our hurt, we suppress it, often burying it so deep within that it manifests in other ways: stress, anxiety, or even physical ailments. Our minds and bodies have a unique way of storing emotions that are unprocessed, and these unaddressed feelings can weigh heavily on us. By denying the hurt, we create an internal battle that only prolongs the suffering. It is not the hurt itself that causes lasting pain, but our resistance to it. It's only when we face the hurt head-on, without fear or resistance, that we can truly begin to heal. Feeling the hurt without resistance means allowing ourselves to fully experience the emotions as they come. This is not a passive act, but an active choice to embrace the pain with the awareness that it is not permanent. We can sit with it, breathe through it, and allow it to move through us. This approach requires courage, as it involves confronting the vulnerability and rawness of our emotions. However, when we allow ourselves to feel, we free ourselves from the chains of suppression and denial. When we stop fighting against the hurt, we can begin to understand its deeper meaning. Emotions are not random or meaningless. Every emotion we feel is a reflection of our inner world. Pain often comes when we have unmet needs, unhealed wounds, or unresolved trauma. By allowing ourselves to feel this hurt, we open the door to understanding what lies beneath it. What is this pain telling us about our desires, our boundaries, and our own growth? When we stop resisting and allow ourselves to feel the pain, we create the space to truly hear what our emotions have to teach us. In feeling the hurt, we allow ourselves to process it fully. Our emotions need to be expressed in order to be released. Bottling up feelings only delays healing and leaves us stuck in a cycle of emotional buildup. But when we honor our emotions, whether through tears, quiet reflection, or expressing our feelings to others, we begin the process of releasing what no longer serves us. The hurt can be processed and, in time, transformed into wisdom and strength. To feel the hurt without resistance is also to trust in the natural ebb and flow of our emotional lives. We must understand that no emotion, no matter how intense, will last forever. Pain is not a permanent state, it is a phase, a season. Just as the weather changes, so too will our emotional state. The key is to stay present with it and trust that it will pass when it has taught us what we need to learn. The pain will ebb, and in its wake, we will find ourselves stronger and more resilient. One of the most liberating aspects of feeling the hurt without resistance is that it allows us to be compassionate with ourselves. Often, when we feel pain, we criticize ourselves for not being strong enough or over it already. We tell ourselves that we should be past this by now. But these self-judgments only add to the suffering. When we allow ourselves to simply feel, we embrace our humanity. We give ourselves the permission to be imperfect, to be vulnerable, and to experience life fully. By feeling the hurt, we also give ourselves the opportunity to heal in a deeper way. Healing is not a linear process. It doesn't happen overnight, and it certainly doesn't happen by forcing it. Healing requires patience, gentleness, and acceptance. It's about acknowledging that pain is a part of life's journey, and it is something that will eventually pass. But in order for healing to occur, we must first be willing to face the hurt, to experience it fully, and to release it without trying to control it. As we begin to feel the hurt without resistance, we tap into a greater sense of peace. This peace comes from the understanding that our emotions are valid and that we are allowed to feel whatever we are feeling. It is the peace that comes from knowing that pain is not something to be ashamed of, but something to be understood, processed, and released. By embracing the hurt, we learn to embrace ourselves. We learn that we are capable of moving through difficult emotions and emerging on the other side stronger, wiser, and more compassionate. So, the next time you feel pain, do not run from it. Do not push it away or try to avoid it. Instead, choose to feel it fully. Sit with it, breathe through it, and trust that in doing so, you are healing. Allow the hurt to be a part of your journey and let it guide you to a place of greater self-awareness and strength. for it is through the act of feeling, without resistance, that you will find the peace and healing you seek. Acceptance is one of the most powerful tools we have in life. It is a transformative force that, when fully embraced, can unlock our potential, bring peace, and create the freedom we seek. So often we are conditioned to resist the things we cannot control, to fight against what feels uncomfortable or out of our control. However, in doing so, we only prolong our suffering. True peace comes not from fighting against life's challenges, but from accepting them as part of the journey. Acceptance is not about resignation or giving up. It's not about tolerating negative situations or passively allowing things to happen to us. Rather, it's about acknowledging the reality of a situation, embracing it for what it is, and finding a way to move forward in a positive, empowered way. It is about recognizing that there are things in life we cannot change, and instead of fighting against them, we choose to accept them as they are, without resistance or judgment. When we resist something, we give it power over us. Resistance creates a sense of struggle, frustration, and helplessness. We exhaust ourselves fighting against what we cannot change. However, when we shift our mindset from resistance to acceptance, we immediately release that power. We regain control over our emotional state, and we begin to move forward. It is in this space of acceptance that true growth occurs. When we stop fighting, we make room for new possibilities to enter our lives. Accepting what is doesn't mean we condone everything or stop striving for improvement. It's about recognizing that certain circumstances, whether it be pain, disappointment, or obstacles, are part of life's natural rhythm. Every challenge, every hardship, has the potential to teach us something valuable. By accepting the situation as it is, we open ourselves to the lessons it holds. We may not always understand why something is happening, but we can trust that it is unfolding in a way that serves our higher purpose. The power of acceptance also lies in the ability to stop resisting our own feelings. So often, when we experience negative emotions like sadness, anger, or frustration, we feel guilty or ashamed for feeling them. We might judge ourselves for being weak or emotional, thinking that we should be able to handle things better. However, when we resist our feelings, we create an inner conflict. The more we try to push our emotions away, the more they persist, often growing in intensity. But when we accept our emotions without judgment or resistance, we allow them to move through us naturally. We acknowledge them, process them, and then release them. Acceptance creates the space for healing. In relationships, acceptance is also a crucial element. We often have expectations of others, hoping they will behave or respond in a certain way. However, when we accept people for who they truly are, rather than who we want them to be, we experience a profound shift. We release the need to control or change them, and instead we focus on appreciating them for their uniqueness. This doesn't mean we accept harmful behaviors or tolerate mistreatment, but it does mean we acknowledge others' flaws, imperfections, and differences without judgment. By accepting people as they are, we create a foundation of trust and respect that fosters genuine connection. Acceptance also plays a significant role in our ability to heal and grow. Many of us carry around past hurts, regrets, and wounds that we have not fully processed. We often replay painful memories or ruminate over things we wish had turned out differently. But the more we resist the pain, the more it persists. True healing begins when we accept the past without judgment or blame. This doesn't mean we condone what happened or forget it, but we stop allowing it to have power over us. We accept that the past is done, and by doing so, we release ourselves from the chains that bind us to it. Acceptance is a key component in our ability to create the future we desire. When we accept the present moment for what it is, we free ourselves from the grip of anxiety and fear about the future. So much of our stress comes from worrying about what might happen or how things might turn out. But when we accept that we cannot predict the future, we free ourselves from the burden of trying to control it. We focus on the present moment, take inspired action, and trust that everything will unfold as it should. Acceptance allows us to let go of the need to have everything figured out and gives us the confidence to move forward with faith and trust. The process of acceptance also invites gratitude into our lives. When we accept things as they are, we begin to see the blessings in the midst of challenges. Acceptance allows us to recognize that every experience, even the difficult ones, is contributing to our growth. We learn to appreciate the lessons that life offers us and find meaning in what we go through. It's easy to be grateful when things are going well, but it's in the moments of difficulty that we have the opportunity to deepen our gratitude. Acceptance teaches us that even in our struggles, there is something to be thankful for. Acceptance is not just about making peace with the things we cannot change. It is about empowering ourselves to create the life we desire. It is about surrendering to the flow of life and trusting that everything is unfolding as it should. By accepting what is, we release resistance and open ourselves to new opportunities, new insights, and new possibilities. We stop fighting against the current and begin to flow with it, knowing that life will always bring us what we need when we are ready to receive it. In embracing acceptance, we create space for peace, joy, and fulfillment. We stop being weighed down by the burdens of resistance and instead step into a place of flow and ease. Acceptance doesn't mean we give up on our dreams or stop striving for better. It simply means that we accept where we are right now, without judgment, and trust that everything is happening for our highest good. This is the power of acceptance to bring us peace, to heal our wounds, and to guide us toward a brighter, more fulfilled future. Healing is not something that is granted to us from the outside. It is something that begins deep within. It is a process that starts with an inward journey, a return to self. For many of us, the idea of healing conjures up images of external solutions, medications, therapies, or the presence of others. While these can support us, true healing happens when we turn inward, acknowledging the wounds within, understanding their source, and working through them. Healing is not a destination, but a continuous process that arises from within our own hearts, minds, and souls. The first step in this inward journey is self-awareness. Without truly understanding where our pain originates, we cannot begin to heal. Often we are unaware of the emotional scars we carry, buried deep within our subconscious. These scars may stem from childhood trauma, past relationships, unmet needs, or difficult life experiences. They may not always be immediately apparent, but they shape our perceptions, behaviors, and reactions. Healing starts when we become aware of these unresolved emotions. It is not enough to simply acknowledge them in passing. We must take the time to sit with them, reflect upon them, and give them space to surface. Once we acknowledge the pain, we must accept it. Acceptance is crucial in the healing process because it allows us to move forward. Many people resist their pain, either by denying it or by pushing it away, thinking that ignoring it will somehow make it go away. But resistance only prolongs suffering. Pain cannot heal unless it is allowed to be felt fully. The more we resist, the more we empower the pain to control us. Accepting the pain, on the other hand, means facing it with courage and compassion. We must be gentle with ourselves, allowing the hurt to come and go, without judgment or condemnation. By accepting our emotions as they are, we begin to release their hold on us. Also requires forgiveness. Often the deepest wounds we carry are the result of hurt caused by others' betrayals, disappointments, or even neglect. These emotional wounds can fester and grow, preventing us from moving forward. Holding on to resentment or anger keeps us tied to the past and prevents us from healing. Forgiveness is not about condoning the hurt or excusing the actions of others. It is about freeing ourselves from the grip of those past emotions. When we forgive, we are not releasing others from their actions, but releasing ourselves from the burden of carrying that pain. Forgiveness sets us free. It allows us to move on, to heal, and to create the space for peace within. But forgiveness must first begin with ourselves. We cannot fully forgive others until we have forgiven ourselves. Many of us are burdened by guilt, shame, or regret from our past actions, and these emotions can weigh heavily on our ability to heal. Self-forgiveness is the first and most important step. We are all imperfect, and we all make mistakes. The key is to understand that our mistakes do not define us. We must be willing to show ourselves the same compassion we would show a loved one. It is in this self-compassion that healing truly begins. Only when we forgive ourselves can we release the shame, guilt, and self-blame that prevent us from fully embracing who we are. Healing also involves the practice of self-care. While the inner work of healing is essential, it is equally important to nurture our physical, mental, and emotional well-being. We cannot neglect our bodies, minds, or spirits and expect to heal. Self-care is an act of honoring ourselves. It involves taking the time to nourish our bodies with healthy food, rest, and exercise. It means surrounding ourselves with positive, supportive people who lift us up rather than drag us down. Self-care also includes protecting our mental and emotional boundaries, learning to say no when necessary, and ensuring that we are not giving more than we can handle. It is about taking ownership of our well-being and prioritizing our health physically, emotionally, and spiritually. A crucial aspect of healing within is the cultivation of a positive mindset. Our thoughts have a profound impact on our emotional and physical well-being. Negative thinking, self-criticism, and fear-based thoughts can create blockages within us that prevent healing. On the other hand, positive thoughts can have a healing effect, releasing tension, reducing stress, and even boosting the immune system. Healing begins when we recognize the power of our thoughts and take control of them. We must learn to challenge negative thought patterns and replace them with affirmations of love, kindness, and compassion toward ourselves. The more we nurture a positive inner dialogue, the more we create a healing environment within our own minds. Another essential aspect of healing is letting go. Often we cling to old patterns, beliefs, or relationships because they are familiar, even if they are no longer serving us. These attachments hold us back from healing. Letting go can be one of the most difficult parts of the healing process, but it is also one of the most liberating. Whether it's letting go of toxic relationships, outdated beliefs, or past mistakes, releasing what no longer serves us makes room for new growth and transformation. We must be willing to release the weight of the past in order to embrace the present moment fully. Healing begins within, because it is only when we look inward that we can truly understand the source of our pain. We cannot control everything that happens to us, but we can control how we respond. By taking ownership of our emotions, accepting them, forgiving ourselves and others, and practicing self-care, we create the conditions necessary for healing. This process requires patience, self-compassion, and time, but the rewards are immeasurable. When we heal from within, we transform not only ourselves but also the world around us. We become more resilient, more compassionate, and more at peace with who we are. Healing begins within, and when we embrace this truth, we can unlock the power to create the life we truly desire. Trusting in divine timing is a powerful practice that asks us to surrender our need for control and to trust that everything in our lives is unfolding exactly as it is meant to. It is the understanding that life operates on its own schedule, and while we may not always see the bigger picture, there is a higher intelligence guiding us through every experience. The key is to learn to embrace patience, faith, and surrender as we navigate the journey, knowing that what is meant for us will come at the right time, in the right way. Divine timing is not something we can force. It operates outside the boundaries of our limited understanding of time. We often become frustrated and anxious when things don't happen on our desired timeline. We may think that we are falling behind, that we've missed an opportunity, or that life is not moving fast enough. However, divine timing is a reminder that everything happens in its perfect time. When we try to rush things, we interfere with the natural flow of life. The more we resist the timing of events, the more we create tension and stress within ourselves. But when we trust in divine timing, we release the need to control and allow life to unfold naturally. One of the first steps in trusting divine timing is letting go of our attachment to specific outcomes. So often we become fixated on a particular vision of how we want things to unfold, and when things don't go as planned, we feel disappointed or disillusioned. We have expectations of when certain milestones should happen, and if they don't align with our timeline, we feel lost. But divine timing teaches us that there is wisdom in the unknown. We are often given what we need, not what we think we want. There are moments when the universe withholds something from us because we are not yet ready to receive it. We might be waiting for a job opportunity, a relationship, or a dream to manifest. But sometimes we need more time to grow, to learn, or to heal before we are prepared for what is coming. Trusting divine timing means having faith that we will be given what is meant for us at the perfect moment, and that everything is aligning for our highest good. This trust requires a deep sense of patience. In a world where instant gratification is the norm, patience can feel like a lost art. We are taught to move quickly, to achieve immediately, and to make things happen on our own. However, patience is an essential component of divine timing. It reminds us that life is not a race. It's about enjoying the journey and trusting that we are being guided every step of the way. Patience is not passive, it is an active trust in the process. It's about understanding that while we may not always see immediate results, the seeds we plant today will one day grow into something beautiful. And sometimes the greatest lessons come in the waiting. It is during these periods of waiting that we cultivate resilience, strength, and understanding. Trusting in divine timing also requires the ability to surrender. Surrender is often misunderstood as giving up or resigning ourselves to passivity, but it is actually an act of courage. Surrender means acknowledging that we cannot control everything, and that there is a greater force at work. It is about releasing our need for certainty and accepting that life unfolds in its own time. When we surrender, we allow ourselves to be open to the unexpected, to new opportunities, and to the lessons that come our way. Surrender does not mean inaction, rather. It means letting go of the need to force things and trusting that when the time is right, everything will align. Part of surrendering to divine timing is embracing the idea that delays or detours are not signs of failure but of protection. Sometimes things don't happen when we want them to, because we are being steered away from something that is not right for us. We may not understand why a door has closed, but trusting divine timing means knowing that there is something better waiting for us. The delay is not a denial, it's simply the universe creating space for something more aligned with our true purpose to manifest. We have all experienced moments when something didn't go according to plan, only to later realize that it was for our own good. It was a blessing in disguise, a lesson we needed to learn, or a redirection toward a more fulfilling path. Trusting divine timing also requires us to cultivate faith. Faith is the belief that everything is happening for a reason, even when we cannot see it. It is the understanding that there is a greater plan in motion, even if it doesn't make sense in the moment. Faith in divine timing means that we trust that the universe, or whatever higher power we believe in, is guiding us toward what we need. Faith allows us to be at peace with the unknown. We don't need to have all the answers, we simply need to trust that the answers will come when we are ready to receive them. Faith reminds us that we are not alone on this journey, and that the universe is conspiring in our favor, even when things seem uncertain. As we learn to trust in divine timing, we also begin to recognize the signs and synchronicities that guide us. The universe has a way of sending us messages when we are on the right path. These can come in the form of intuitive nudges, coincidences, or unexpected opportunities. Trusting divine timing means learning to listen to these signals and being open to the ways the universe communicates with us. It's about understanding that everything is connected, and when we are aligned with the flow of life, we are more likely to encounter moments of serendipity and guidance. Releasing what no longer serves you is an act of profound transformation. It is the conscious choice to let go of the old, the outdated, and the burdens that keep you from becoming the person you are meant to be. We all carry with us elements of our past old habits, limiting beliefs, toxic relationships, and unhealed wounds that shape our present. These things can hold us back from experiencing true peace, joy, and fulfillment. But in order to move forward, we must learn to release them. Releasing is not about forgetting or erasing the past, it's about freeing ourselves from the weight that it carries. It's about clearing space for new growth, new opportunities, and new experiences. One of the first steps in releasing what no longer serves you is recognizing what it is. We often get so used to the things in our lives that we forget to evaluate whether they are truly serving us, or if they have simply become a part of the familiar routine. These may be thoughts, behaviors, or even physical possessions that we hold on to out of habit or comfort, but they no longer add value to our lives. It's important to take an honest look at what is draining our energy, what is holding us back, and what is keeping us stuck in the past. This might include relationships that no longer align with our values, self-doubts that limit our potential, or attachments to material things that give us temporary satisfaction but not lasting fulfillment. Once we've identified what is no longer serving us, the next step is to acknowledge the pain or fear associated with letting go. Change is not easy. We may fear the unknown, worry about what we will lose, or feel like we are giving up something that once brought us comfort. The attachments we have to certain people, situations, or beliefs are often rooted in fear of not being good enough, fear of failure, or fear of being alone. But holding on to these fears only prevents us from moving forward. To release what no longer serves us, we must be willing to confront our fears, sit with them, and move through them. It's not about eliminating fear entirely, but about choosing not to let fear dictate our actions. It's about recognizing that our growth lies on the other side of discomfort. Releasing requires us to practice forgiveness both of others and ourselves. Often the things we need to release are tied to past hurts and unresolved emotional baggage. We may carry anger or resentment toward others for how they have treated us, or we may harbor guilt or shame for our own past actions. These negative emotions keep us tethered to the past and prevent us from moving forward. To truly release, we must let go of these emotional burdens. Forgiveness is not about excusing the wrongs done to us or absolving ourselves of responsibility. It is about freeing ourselves from the grip of these emotions. Forgiveness is an act of self-liberation. When we forgive, we release the hold that the past has on us, and we make space for healing and peace to enter our lives. Letting go also involves detaching from the need for external validation. So much of what we hold on to is tied to our desire for approval from others. We may stay in relationships or situations because we fear rejection, or we may strive for perfection in our work or appearance in order to gain praise. But when we are constantly seeking validation from the outside, we lose sight of our own worth. Releasing what no longer serves us means returning to our true selves, independent of external opinions. It means trusting that we are enough, just as we are, and that our value does not depend on others' perceptions. By releasing the need for approval, we open the door to authentic self-expression and self-love. Sometimes, letting go involves releasing our attachment to specific outcomes. We may set goals or have dreams, and we become attached to how we think they should unfold. However, life has a way of surprising us, often in ways we don't expect. When we cling too tightly to how we want things to happen, we close ourselves off from the possibilities that life has to offer. Releasing attachment means trusting that whatever comes will be for our highest good, even if it doesn't look exactly like we envisioned it. It's about letting go of the need to control the future and allowing life to unfold naturally. By releasing attachment, we allow ourselves to experience more joy, flexibility, and peace. Releasing is also a physical act. We can begin by clearing out our physical spaces, our homes, our workplaces, and even our digital spaces. Our environment is a reflection of our inner state, and when we are surrounded by clutter and disorganization, it can contribute to mental and emotional chaos. Letting go of physical possessions that no longer serve us creates space for new energy to flow. It's a symbolic act that mirrors the release we are making on an emotional and spiritual level. As we let go of material things, we also let go of the attachments and beliefs that keep us tethered to the past. The act of releasing is liberating, and it invites new opportunities and experiences into our lives. The final step in releasing is trusting the process. Letting go can feel uncomfortable at times, especially when we are unsure of what will come next. However, trusting in the process of release is essential. When we let go of what no longer serves us, we create space for the new, the unknown, and the better. The universe has a way of filling the void we create with what is meant for us. Trusting the process means believing that once we release, we are making room for greater things, things that align with our true desires and purpose. Releasing what no longer serves us is an act of courage, clarity, and self-love. It is about identifying what holds us back, confronting the fear and pain tied to these attachments, and making the conscious decision to let go. By practicing forgiveness, detachment, and trust, we free ourselves from the limitations of the past and open ourselves to new possibilities. The process of release is ongoing and transformative, leading us to deeper peace, greater authenticity, and a life aligned with our true purpose. Letting go is not about losing, it is about making space for growth, healing, and the fulfillment of our deepest desires. Forgiveness is one of the most powerful tools for emotional and spiritual growth. It is not just about letting go of anger, resentment, or hurt. It is about freeing ourselves from the emotional burdens that keep us stuck in the past. When we forgive, we release the grip that negative emotions have over us and open ourselves up to peace, healing, and transformation. Forgiveness is a gift we give ourselves, one that allows us to move forward with our lives, unburdened by the weight of past pain. The power of forgiveness lies in its ability to shift our perspective. When we hold on to grudges, we are essentially keeping ourselves trapped in the past. We replay the hurtful events over and over in our minds, allowing them to shape our present and even our future. These negative emotions can cloud our judgment, distort our relationships, and prevent us from experiencing joy and fulfillment. Forgiveness, however, allows us to release the past and step into the present moment. It is the conscious decision to stop allowing someone else's actions to dictate our emotional state. By forgiving, we are choosing to take back our power and reclaim control over our emotional well-being. Does not mean excusing or condoning the behavior of those who have hurt us. It is not about saying that what happened was acceptable or that we should forget the wrong that was done to us. Instead, it is about acknowledging the pain, the injustice, or the betrayal, and choosing to let go of the negative emotions associated with it. It is a decision to stop carrying the weight of anger, resentment, and hurt, which ultimately only harms us, not the person who wronged us. By forgiving, we are choosing to free ourselves from the emotional imprisonment of the past, and in doing so, we create space for healing to occur. At its core, forgiveness is about releasing the need for revenge or retribution. When we are hurt, it is natural to feel the desire for justice, for the wrongdoer to face the consequences of their actions. However, holding on to the desire for vengeance only keeps us entangled in the cycle of anger and pain. Revenge may offer temporary satisfaction, but it does nothing to heal the emotional wounds we carry. In fact, it only deepens the pain and keeps us stuck in the past. Forgiveness, on the other hand, allows us to break free from this cycle. It is an act of emotional liberation that frees us from the need to seek punishment or retribution. It is a decision to let go of the past and trust that justice will come in its own time, in its own way. One of the most powerful aspects of forgiveness is its ability to heal our own hearts. When we forgive, we are not just releasing the other person, we are also healing ourselves. Unforgiveness is like poison in the soul. It festers and grows, eating away at our happiness and peace of mind. It can manifest in physical ailments, strained relationships, and a general sense of discontent. When we choose to forgive, we free ourselves from this poison. We stop letting the actions of others dictate how we feel, and we regain our emotional balance. Forgiveness is a gift we give to ourselves because it allows us to move forward with peace in our hearts, unburdened by the past. Also has the power to transform our relationships. When we hold on to resentment, we build walls between ourselves and others. These walls create distance and prevent intimacy, connection, and trust. By forgiving, we tear down these walls and allow for healing to take place. Forgiveness does not always mean reconciling or returning to a relationship as it was before. It simply means releasing the emotional charge attached to the event. It means no longer allowing the past to define our interactions with others. By forgiving, we create space for growth, understanding, and deeper connection. Even if the relationship cannot be restored, forgiveness allows us to move on with peace in our hearts, no longer carrying the weight of bitterness or resentment. Forgiveness is also a way to release ourselves from the grip of victimhood. When we hold on to anger and resentment, we are essentially giving away our power. We are allowing the actions of others to define us and control how we feel. We become victims of our circumstances, constantly reliving the pain and hurt of the past. Forgiveness, however, is an act of empowerment. It is a conscious choice to stop being a victim of our past and to take back our power. It is a decision to stop allowing the actions of others to control how we feel, and to instead take responsibility for our emotional state. Forgiveness frees us from the role of the victim and allows us to reclaim our personal power. It is not always easy. It requires vulnerability, humility, and strength. It is often much easier to hold on to anger and resentment than to let them go. We may feel justified in our hurt, and we may believe that by forgiving, we are somehow letting the other person off the hook. But the truth is, holding on to anger only hurts us in the end. Forgiveness is not about condoning the behavior of others. It is about freeing ourselves from the emotional weight of the past. It is about choosing to move forward with peace in our hearts, regardless of what has happened. The process of forgiveness is different for everyone. It may take time, reflection, and even the help of a therapist or spiritual guide. It is important to give ourselves permission to forgive at our own pace. Some wounds may take longer to heal than others, and that is okay. Forgiveness is a journey, not a destination. It is a continuous process of letting go, releasing the past, and choosing peace in the present moment. With time, the burden of unforgiveness lightens, and we are left with a sense of freedom and emotional clarity. The power of forgiveness is profound. It is a transformative act that allows us to release the pain of the past and create space for healing, peace, and growth. Forgiveness is not about excusing the actions of others, but about freeing ourselves from the grip of negative emotions. It is a gift we give to ourselves, one that allows us to move forward with emotional freedom and strength. By forgiving, we reclaim our power, heal our hearts, and transform our relationships. Forgiveness is not a sign of weakness, but a testament to our strength and resilience. It is a powerful tool for emotional liberation, one that can bring lasting peace and transformation to our lives. Moving forward with grace is about embracing change, navigating life's challenges, and stepping into the future with a sense of dignity, compassion, and poise. Life will inevitably present us with moments of difficulty, uncertainty, and even heartbreak, but how we respond to these moments can shape our journey and define our character. Moving forward with grace is not about avoiding pain or pretending that challenges don't exist. It is about facing them with a mindset that allows us to learn, grow, and evolve, while maintaining inner peace and respect for ourselves and others. One of the first steps in moving forward with grace is accepting that life is not always going to go according to plan. Expectations can be powerful, and it's natural to hope for certain outcomes, whether in relationships, career, or personal goals. However, life has a way of surprising us, often throwing us off course in ways that we could never anticipate. The key to moving forward with grace is accepting that setbacks, disappointments, and detours are part of the journey. Acceptance does not mean resignation, rather. It means acknowledging the reality of the situation without resistance. When we fight against what is happening, we only prolong our suffering. Acceptance allows us to flow with life rather than against it, and it enables us to respond with a calm, centered mind rather than reacting out of frustration or fear. Moving forward with grace also requires a deep sense of self-compassion. During times of hardship, it's easy to be hard on ourselves, to fall into self-criticism or self-blame. We might feel like we are failing or that we're not doing enough. However, treating ourselves with kindness and understanding is essential for healing and growth. We must remind ourselves that it's okay to stumble, to make mistakes, and to experience setbacks. We are human, and part of being human is learning how to rise after we fall. Self-compassion allows us to approach our struggles with a sense of gentleness, offering ourselves the same empathy and support that we would offer a loved one in a similar situation. By treating ourselves with grace, we create the space for healing to take place, allowing us to move forward with greater resilience and strength. Another crucial aspect of moving forward with grace is letting go of the past. Often we carry emotional baggage from previous experiences that weigh us down and prevent us from fully embracing the present. Whether it's past regrets, old wounds, or unresolved pain, these emotions can cloud our judgment and hinder our ability to move forward. Letting go does not mean forgetting. It means releasing the emotional charge tied to those experiences. It means making the conscious choice to no longer let the past dictate our present or our future. When we release the grip of the past, we open ourselves to new possibilities and new experiences. We free ourselves from the chains of resentment, regret, and guilt, allowing our hearts to heal and our minds to clear. This act of letting go is an act of grace in itself, as it requires trust that we are capable of moving forward without the weight of what has already happened. Moving forward with grace also means maintaining a positive mindset, even in the face of adversity. Our thoughts have incredible power over our emotions and experiences. If we focus on the obstacles in front of us, it can be easy to feel overwhelmed or discouraged. But when we shift our focus to what we can learn from each challenge, we begin to see the opportunities for growth that are present, even in the most difficult situations. Moving forward with grace requires a shift in perspective, a commitment to finding the silver lining and embracing the lessons that come with every trial. This doesn't mean pretending that everything is fine. When it isn't, it means acknowledging the difficulty while choosing to remain hopeful and open to the possibility of growth. A positive mindset does not guarantee that everything will go perfectly, but it does give us the strength and determination to keep going, even when things seem uncertain. A key component of grace is understanding that we are not in control of everything. There are many aspects of life that are beyond our influence, and trying to control the uncontrollable only leads to frustration and stress. Moving forward with grace involves surrendering to the flow of life and trusting that everything is unfolding as it should. It's about accepting that some things are outside of our control, but that doesn't diminish our power to choose how we respond. By releasing the need to control every outcome, we free ourselves from the anxiety that often accompanies uncertainty. Surrendering doesn't mean giving up, it means trusting that, in time, things will fall into place as they are meant to. To move forward with grace, we must also cultivate patience. The path to healing and growth is rarely a straight line. There will be ups and downs, periods of progress, and moments of setback. Patience allows us to be gentle with ourselves during the process. It reminds us that it's okay to take things one step at a time, and that progress is not always linear. The beauty of moving forward with grace is that it's not about rushing toward an end goal. It's about embracing the journey, knowing that each step, no matter how small, brings us closer to our true purpose. Patience gives us the space to breathe, to grow, and to trust that everything is happening in its own time. Moving forward with grace also involves extending that grace to others. As we navigate our own struggles and triumphs, we must remember that everyone else is on their own unique journey. The people may hurt us, disappoint us, or make mistakes along the way, but holding on to grudges or resentment only keeps us bound to the past. Offering grace to others means letting go of the need to hold them accountable for every wrong and choosing to see them as fellow travelers on this path of life. When we extend grace to others, we free ourselves from the burden of judgment and open ourselves to the beauty of understanding, empathy, and compassion. Moving forward with grace is about embracing the present moment. Often we get so caught up in what has happened or what might happen that we forget to fully experience the here and now. The present is the only time we truly have, and it is where we have the power to make choices, to heal, and to create. When we move forward with grace, we make the conscious decision to be present, to appreciate the small moments, and to fully engage with the life that is unfolding right before us. By embracing the present, we empower ourselves to create a future that is aligned with our true desires and values. Moving forward with grace is an act of self-love, self-compassion, and trust in the process of life. It is about accepting the ebb and flow of life's challenges, letting go of the past, maintaining a positive and open mindset, and surrendering to the wisdom of divine timing. But it is about moving forward with patience, understanding, and a sense of inner peace, knowing that each step, no matter how small, brings us closer to the person we are meant to become. Moving forward with grace allows us to face life's trials with courage, to learn from our experiences, and to emerge stronger, wiser, and more compassionate. It is the art of navigating life's journey with poise, dignity, and a heart full of hope. In conclusion, Moving forward with grace is about embracing the fullness of life, the challenges, the triumphs, and everything in between. It requires us to accept, heal, and release what no longer serves us, while trusting in the process and timing of life. Through patience, self-compassion, and a positive mindset, we are able to navigate the ups and downs with dignity and strength. Moving forward with grace is not just a choice, but a way of being, one that allows us to grow, learn, and transform into the best version of ourselves. Thank you for taking this journey with me, and may you continue to move forward with grace, no matter where life leads you. Beloved, the path to rebuilding yourself begins within, in the sacred temple of your own mind. Your current life is but a shadow of what you have believed about yourself. If you wish to rise, to rebuild, then you must shift the foundation of your being. Imagination is the most powerful tool you possess, the divine spark within you that shapes and molds the world around you. Everything you see, every experience you encounter, began as an idea in the mind of someone who dared to imagine it. Your imagination is not merely a whimsical daydream or a fleeting escape from reality, it is the very foundation of creation itself. When you harness it, you hold the key to transforming not just your circumstances, but your very identity. To rebuild yourself, you must first acknowledge this truth: your life as it stands today is the result of the images you have consistently entertained in your mind. The life you desire, the strength, the success, the peace already exists within the boundless realm of your imagination. But you must give it form, breathe life into it, and nurture it as though it were a living thing. This is not a passive process, but an act of deliberate creation. Begin by closing your eyes to the world of facts and opening the inner eye of your mind. What do you see? What version of yourself appears before you? If it is not the person you wish to become, then know that you have the power to change it. Picture yourself as the individual you aspire to be, not in some distant future, but right now, in this very moment. See yourself walking with confidence, achieving your goals, radiating joy and fulfillment. The clearer and more vivid this image, the more powerful its effect. Do not simply see this new self, feel it. Imagine what it would feel like to live that life, to embody that version of you. Feel the exhilaration of success, the warmth of love, or the peace of freedom. The feeling is the secret. It is not enough to think about change, you must feel as though it has already occurred. When you do this, your subconscious mind accepts this new reality as truth and begins to align your actions, decisions, and even the circumstances of your life to bring it into being. The beauty of imagination lies in its boundlessness. There are no restrictions, no limitations, except those you impose upon yourself. If you dare to dream boldly, to imagine yourself soaring higher than ever before, then you set the stage for a life beyond your wildest expectations. But if your vision is small and confined, your results will mirror that constraint. Give yourself permission to dream freely, to explore the vast potential within you without fear or doubt. It is crucial to understand that imagination is not just idle fantasy. What you consistently imagine, you eventually become. The mind does not distinguish between what is real and what is vividly imagined. This is why you must guard your thoughts and ensure that your mental imagery aligns with the life you desire. When you allow fear, doubt, or negativity to dominate your imagination, you unknowingly create more of the very things you wish to avoid. In moments of solitude, when the world is quiet, take time to dwell in your imagination. This is your sacred space, a sanctuary where you can rehearse the life you wish to live. Let this practice become a daily ritual, a time when you withdraw from the noise of the world and reconnect with your inner vision. The more you do this, the more real your imagined life will feel, and the more effortlessly it will begin to manifest in your external reality. Doubt will undoubtedly creep in, whispering that your imagination is foolish, that reality is fixed, and that change is impossible. Do not listen. Doubt is the enemy of creation, the voice of limitation that seeks to keep you bound to the status quo. Instead, trust in the power of your imagination. Trust that what you see and feel within is more real than the appearances of the outer world. For the outer world is nothing but a reflection of the inner. When you commit to living from your imagination, you step into the role of creator. You are no longer at the mercy of circumstances, but the architect of your destiny. You begin to see that life does not happen to you, it happens through you. Every challenge becomes an opportunity to reshape your vision, every setback a chance to refine your image of the future. It may take time for the outer world to catch up with your inner vision, but do not be discouraged. Seeds do not sprout the moment they are planted, yet beneath the surface they are growing, reaching for the light. Your imagined self is the same. Persist in seeing it, feeling it, and believing in it, even when the evidence around you suggests otherwise. This persistence is the bridge between the invisible and the visible, between imagination and reality. As you continue to rebuild yourself through the power of imagination, you will notice subtle shifts. Your thoughts will become more aligned with your vision, your actions will reflect your new identity, and opportunities will arise seemingly out of nowhere. These are not coincidences, but the natural consequences of your inner transformation. So dare to imagine. Dare to see yourself not as you are, but as you wish to be. Dare to dream a life that feels impossible, and then live as though it is already yours. The power to rebuild yourself is already within you, waiting to be unleashed. All it takes is the courage to close your eyes to the world of facts and open them to the infinite possibilities of your imagination. In doing so, you will discover that you are not only capable of rebuilding yourself, but of creating a life that exceeds your wildest dreams. To assume the feeling of the wish fulfilled is to step into the experience of your desired life as though it is already yours. It is not a mere exercise of thought, but an act of living internally in the state of your fulfilled desire. This concept is the key to transformation and the essence of true creation. By assuming the feeling, you align your inner world with the reality you wish to experience, allowing it to manifest naturally in the physical world. Creation begins within you. Your life is a reflection of your inner state, your thoughts, emotions, and beliefs. To change your life, you must first change how you feel about it. Feeling is the language of the subconscious mind, and the subconscious is the engine that drives your experiences. It does not question or rationalize, it simply accepts what you consistently feel as true and works to bring it into your reality. Therefore, to assume the feeling of the wish fulfilled is to plant the seed of your desire deep in the fertile soil of your subconscious. This process requires that you detach from the present circumstances that may seem contrary to your desires. The external world is merely a reflection of your past states of mind. If you allow yourself to be controlled by what you see and hear, you remain bound to the same patterns. Instead, you must cultivate the ability to close your eyes to the world of appearances and open your mind to the vision of your fulfilled desire. When you do this, you are no longer reacting to the world, you are creating it. Imagine, for example, that you desire greater financial abundance. Begin by closing your eyes and picturing yourself living the life you associate with that abundance. See yourself enjoying the freedom, the opportunities, and the security that wealth brings. But do not stop there. Feel it. Feel the sense of relief, the joy, the gratitude, and the confidence that come with having your desire fulfilled. Let these feelings fill you completely until they become as real as the air you breathe. The feeling is the bridge between your current reality and the one you wish to create. It acts as a magnetic force, drawing to you the circumstances, people, and opportunities that align with your new state. When you feel as though your wish is already fulfilled, you are no longer striving or yearning for it. Instead, you are living from it. This shift is subtle but profound. It transforms your relationship with your desire, turning it from something you hope for into something you already possess. To assume the feeling of the wish fulfilled, you must train your mind to dwell in the desired state, even when external evidence contradicts it. This requires faith, a deep, unwavering belief in the unseen. Faith is not blind optimism. It is the knowing that what you feel and believe within will inevitably find expression in your life. This faith empowers you to persist, even when doubt arises, or when the world seems unchanged. Doubt is often the greatest obstacle to assuming the feeling of the wish fulfilled. It whispers that your desire is too big, too unrealistic, or too far away. But doubt only has power if you give it attention. When doubt arises, gently return to the feeling of your wish fulfilled. Remind yourself that the world outside is only a reflection of your inner state. By staying anchored in the feeling, you neutralize doubt and reinforce your new reality. This practice is not about ignoring the present or pretending that challenges do not exist. It is about choosing to focus on the reality you wish to create, rather than being consumed by the one you wish to change. As you persist in assuming the feeling of the wish fulfilled, you will notice a shift. Your thoughts will align with your new state, your actions will reflect your desired reality, and the world around you will begin to change in ways that seem almost magical. One of the most effective ways to assume the feeling of the wish fulfilled is through visualization. Find a quiet place where you will not be disturbed. Close your eyes and imagine a scene that represents your fulfilled desire. Make it vivid, detailed, and full of life. See the colors, hear the sounds, and most importantly, feel the emotions. For instance, if your desire is to own a home, imagine walking through its rooms, feeling the textures, and basking in the joy of knowing it is yours. Repeat this exercise daily, allowing the feeling to grow stronger with each session. Gratitude is another powerful tool for assuming the feeling. When you feel grateful for your desire as though it has already been fulfilled, you signal to the universe that you trust the process. Gratitude shifts your focus from lack to abundance, creating a powerful resonance with your desired state. Each day, take a moment to give thanks for the fulfillment of your desire. Feel the gratitude as deeply as you can, and let it flow through every part of your being. This practice requires consistency and discipline. It is not enough to assume the feeling once, and then return to old patterns of thought and emotion. You must persist in living from the state of your fulfilled desire until it becomes second nature. Over time, this new state will solidify and your external world will conform to it. When you assume the feeling of the wish fulfilled, you are not waiting for your desire to appear, you are living as though it already has. This is the essence of true creation, knowing that your inner state shapes your outer world, and that the fulfillment of your desire is inevitable. Trust the process, persist in the feeling, and watch as your life transforms in ways that exceed your imagination. To rebuild yourself, you must first release the old identity, the version of you that no longer serves your higher purpose. This is the foundation of transformation, for you cannot build a new life on the remnants of the past. The person you were, shaped by past beliefs, experiences, and limitations, must dissolve to make way for the person you are becoming. Releasing the old identity is not merely a symbolic act, it is a deliberate process of shedding, unlearning, and letting go of all that keeps you tied to a life that feels too small for your soul. Your identity is a collection of stories you have told yourself, often unconsciously. These stories are formed by experiences, societal expectations, and the influence of others. They dictate how you see yourself, how you act, and what you believe you deserve. But just because these stories have been repeated in your mind does not make them true. They are constructs, and like any construct, they can be dismantled. The first step in releasing the old identity is awareness. You must become aware of the thoughts, patterns, and beliefs that define your current self. What do you say about yourself when no one is listening? What limitations do you accept without question? Perhaps you believe you are not talented enough, not worthy of love, or not capable of achieving your dreams. These beliefs are not truths, they are remnants of a self you are ready to outgrow. Once you are aware of these limiting beliefs, you must confront them. Ask yourself, who told me this? Where did this belief come from? Often you will find that these beliefs were imposed upon you by others, parents, teachers, peers, or born out of painful experiences. But the origins of these beliefs are not as important as recognizing that they are no longer valid. They may have served a purpose in the past, perhaps as a form of protection or survival, but they are no longer aligned with who you wish to become. Releasing the old identity requires a willingness to let go of the familiar, even when the familiar feels safe. It is human nature to cling to what we know, even if it causes us pain, because it provides a sense of certainty. But growth demands that you step into the unknown. You must be willing to face the discomfort of change, trusting that the new identity you are creating is worth the temporary unease. One of the most effective ways to release the old identity is to detach from labels. The labels you wear, good or bad, are part of the old self. Perhaps you have labeled yourself as shy, unworthy, or incapable. Or perhaps you have been labeled by others, accepting their definitions of who you are. These labels are not your essence, they are limitations. Begin to see yourself not as a fixed identity, but as a fluid being, capable of infinite change and reinvention. Forgiveness is another powerful tool in releasing the old identity. Forgive yourself for the mistakes you have made, the opportunities you have missed, and the times you have fallen short of your own expectations. These moments do not define you, they are simply lessons on your journey. Forgive others as well, not for their sake, but for your own. Holding on to resentment ties you to the past and reinforces the old self. Letting go of resentment is an act of liberation, freeing you to step into the fullness of your potential. As you release the old identity, you may encounter resistance not only from within but also from others. People around you may struggle to accept your transformation, clinging to the version of you they have always known. This is natural, but it is not your burden to bear. You are not obligated to remain the same for the comfort of others. True transformation requires courage, and part of that courage is standing firm in your decision to grow, even when others resist. A practical way to reinforce the release of the old identity is to create rituals of letting go. Write down the beliefs, habits, and patterns you wish to leave behind. Be specific. Then, in a symbolic act, destroy the paper, burn it, tear it, or bury it. As you do, declare your intention to release these aspects of yourself. This ritual is a physical representation of an internal shift, helping your mind and spirit align with your decision. Once you have released the old identity, you must replace it with the vision of your new self. Nature abhors a vacuum, and if you do not fill the void left by the old self, you risk slipping back into familiar patterns. Visualize the person you are becoming, how they think, feel, and act. Begin to embody that version of yourself, even in small ways. Each step you take in alignment with your new identity reinforces the transformation. Understand that releasing the old identity is not a one-time event, but an ongoing process. There will be moments when old thoughts resurface, or when you feel the pull of past habits. Do not see this as failure, but as an opportunity to reaffirm your commitment to change. With each moment of choice, you strengthen your new self and weaken the hold of the old. Releasing the old identity is an act of self-love. It is a declaration that you are worthy of growth, worthy of change, and worthy of the life you desire. It is a process of peeling away the layers that no longer serve you, revealing the infinite potential that has always been within. Trust this process, for as you let go of who you were, you make space for who you are meant to be, and in that space, miracles happen. Persistence in the new state is the cornerstone of transformation. To step into a new reality, you must remain steadfast in your chosen state of being, regardless of external circumstances or fleeting doubts. The new state, the version of yourself that embodies your desired reality, must become your anchor, your identity, and the place from which you live, think, and act. This is not a passive process, but an active commitment to holding steady in the feeling of your wish fulfilled until it crystallizes into your external world. When you decide to adopt a new state, you are essentially choosing to shift your consciousness. Your current reality is a reflection of your previous states of being, the habitual thoughts, emotions, and beliefs you have entertained. To persist in the new state means to break free from the gravitational pull of the old state, which may still attempt to assert itself. This requires resolve, discipline, and a deep faith in the unseen. The greatest challenge in persisting in the new state is the temptation to revert to the familiar. The old state, with its well-worn patterns and predictable outcomes, can feel comfortable even if it no longer serves you. It may manifest as doubt, fear, or a need for immediate evidence of change. But true transformation requires that you prioritize your inner reality over your outer one. Even when the world around you appears unchanged, you must remain unwavering in your belief that your new state is real and inevitable. Persistence begins with clarity. You must clearly define the new state you wish to embody. Who are you in this state? What does your life look like? How do you feel, think, and behave? The more vividly you can imagine and feel this new state, the easier it becomes to align with it. Clarity is the foundation upon which you build your persistence, as it gives you a specific destination to focus on. Feeling is the key to persistence. It is not enough to think about the new state intellectually, you must feel it emotionally. Feeling creates resonance between your inner world and the reality you desire. So, when you feel as though your desire is already fulfilled, you signal to your subconscious mind that this is your truth. Your subconscious then begins to orchestrate circumstances to align with that truth. This feeling must become a constant companion, a state you return to repeatedly throughout the day. Persistence also requires vigilance. Your mind is a powerful tool, but it can easily drift back into old patterns if left unchecked. Pay attention to your thoughts and emotions, and redirect them when they stray from your desired state. If you find yourself dwelling on doubt or negativity, gently remind yourself of your new reality. Use affirmations, visualization, or moments of stillness to reconnect with the feeling of your wish fulfilled. Over time, this practice becomes second nature, and your new state becomes the dominant tone of your inner world. The external world often acts as a mirror of your internal state, but it reflects your past states rather than your present efforts. This can be disheartening if you expect immediate results. Understand that the external world operates with a delay. It takes time for your new state to imprint itself onto physical reality. During this period, it is essential to persist, trusting that the changes you seek are already unfolding behind the scenes. Faith is your ally in this process. Faith is not blind optimism or wishful thinking, it is the deep conviction that your inner reality is more real than the outer appearances. When you persist in the new state with faith, you cultivate a sense of certainty that cannot be shaken by temporary setbacks or lack of evidence. This faith sustains you during moments of doubt and reinforces your commitment to the new state. Another essential aspect of persistence is detachment. While you hold the feeling of your wish fulfilled, you must also release the need to control how and when it manifests. Detachment does not mean indifference, it means trusting the process and allowing the universe to unfold in its own way. Clinging to specific outcomes or timelines only reinforces a state of lack. By letting go of the how, you open yourself to possibilities far greater than what you could have imagined. Persistence in the new state is not about perfection. There will be moments when old habits resurface or when you feel disconnected from your desired reality. Do not see these moments as failures, they are simply opportunities to realign. Every time you choose to return to your new state, you strengthen its hold on your consciousness and weaken the influence of the old. Persistence is a practice, not a one-time decision. As you persist in the new state, you will begin to notice subtle shifts. Your thoughts will align more naturally with your desired reality, your emotions will stabilize in harmony with it, and your actions will flow effortlessly from it. These shifts may start small, but they are powerful indicators that your transformation is taking root. Celebrate these changes, no matter how minor they seem, as they reinforce your faith and commitment. The beauty of persistence is that it transforms not only your external circumstances but also your sense of self. As you consistently live from your new state, it becomes who you are. You no longer have to try to embody, it becomes your natural way of being. This is the point at which your new reality manifests effortlessly as a reflection of your true self. In persisting in the new state, you are engaging in the most profound act of creation. You are not merely waiting for change, you are becoming the change. This requires patience, discipline, and unwavering belief, but the rewards are immeasurable. When you persist, you align yourself with the infinite potential within you, stepping into a life that is not only desired but also deserved. Trust in this process, and you will discover that persistence is the bridge between imagination and reality. Faith in the unseen is the foundation upon which all transformation is built. It is the quiet, unshakable belief in a reality that has not yet materialized, a trust in the intangible forces that shape our lives. This faith is not blind or naive, it is a deliberate choice to align with the deeper truths of existence, where what you hold within your consciousness ultimately defines what you experience in the external world. Faith in the unseen is the bridge between desire and fulfillment, between the imagined and the realized. To possess faith in the unseen is to acknowledge that your outer world is a reflection of your inner world. The circumstances you encounter, the relationships you form, and the opportunities that arise are all echoes of your dominant thoughts and feelings. While the outer world appears to be solid and unyielding, it is, in truth, fluid and malleable, shaped by the unseen forces of your imagination and belief. Faith in the unseen means trusting in this process, even when no tangible evidence yet exists to confirm it. One of the greatest challenges in cultivating faith is overcoming the need for immediate proof. The human mind is conditioned to rely on the senses to see, hear, and touch as a way of validating reality. Yet the senses are limited, they perceive only what already exists, not what is possible. Faith requires you to transcend these limitations, to hold fast to a vision of what could be rather than what is. It demands that you trust in the creative power of your thoughts and feelings, knowing that they will eventually manifest in the physical world. Faith in the unseen is not a passive waiting but an active state of being. It is the choice to live as though your desired reality is already true. This means thinking, feeling, and acting in alignment with your vision, even when external circumstances suggest otherwise. For example, if you seek abundance, faith requires you to adopt the mindset of someone who is already abundant, to feel gratitude, generosity, and confidence as though wealth were already yours. If you seek love, faith asks you to embody the qualities of love, kindness, openness, and joy before it appears in your life. Doubt is the greatest enemy of faith. It creeps in when the outer world seems unchanged, whispering that your efforts are in vain and your dreams are unreachable. But doubt is merely a reflection of old patterns and beliefs, remnants of the past that no longer serve you. Faith is the antidote to doubt, a declaration that you trust the unseen forces working on your behalf, even when the evidence is not yet visible. To sustain faith, you must cultivate a deep sense of inner conviction, a knowing that transcends logic and reason. The power of faith lies in its ability to shift your vibration. Everything in the universe operates on frequency, and your thoughts and feelings emit a signal that attracts corresponding experiences. When you maintain faith in the unseen, you align your vibration with your desired reality, creating a resonance that draws it closer. This alignment is subtle but profound, influencing the people, events, and opportunities that come into your life. Faith is the energetic signature of belief, the invisible thread that weaves your desires into existence. Faith in the unseen also requires patience. The unfolding of your desires follows a divine timing that often differs from your own. This timing is not arbitrary but precise, ensuring that what you seek arrives when you are truly ready to receive it. Impatience is a sign of mistrust, an attempt to force or control the process. Faith, on the other hand, is a surrender to the natural flow of creation, a willingness to allow the universe to work in its own perfect way. Trust that the delays you experience are not denials, but preparations for something greater. One of the most profound aspects of faith in the unseen is its transformative effect on the individual. When you choose faith, you step into a higher state of consciousness, one that is free from fear, doubt, and limitation. Faith expands your perception, allowing you to see possibilities where before you saw obstacles. It strengthens your resilience, enabling you to persist in the face of challenges. Most importantly, it reconnects you to the infinite power within you, the power to create, to heal, and to transform. Faith in the unseen is not something you cultivate once and then forget. It is a daily practice, a choice you make moment by moment. Life will test your faith, presenting you with circumstances that seem to contradict your desires. These tests are not meant to discourage you, but to strengthen your resolve. Each time you choose faith over fear, you reinforce your connection to the unseen forces of creation and deepen your trust in the process. To live with faith in the unseen is to live with courage. It is the courage to believe in your own worthiness, to trust in the goodness of life, and to hold fast to your vision, even when the path is unclear. It is the courage to release control, to surrender to a higher intelligence, and to embrace the mystery of the unknown. Faith is not a sign of weakness but of strength, for it requires you to stand firm in your truth, despite the ever-changing tides of the external world. Faith in the unseen is an act of love for yourself, love for the possibilities of life, and love for the divine force that connects all things. It is a recognition that you are not separate from the source of creation, but an integral part of it. When you hold faith in the unseen, you align with this truth, stepping into the role of a conscious creator. You become a vessel through which miracles can flow, not because you have seen them with your eyes, but because you have believed in them with your heart. Silencing the doubts that arise within your mind is essential for creating the life you desire. Doubts are the voices of fear, insecurity, and past conditioning. They are the echoes of old beliefs that no longer serve you, arising when you dare to imagine a reality beyond what you've known. Yet these doubts hold no true power over you unless you choose to give them your attention and belief. To silence them is not to suppress or ignore them, but to master them, transforming them from obstacles into stepping stones on your journey to fulfillment. Doubt is natural in the process of change. When you set your sights on something new, your mind often clings to the familiar, resisting the unknown. This resistance manifests as doubt, questioning your worthiness, your capabilities, or the likelihood of success. But understand, this doubt is not truth. It is merely a reflection of old patterns and limited perspectives. It arises from a mind conditioned to see only what has already occurred, blind to the infinite possibilities of the present moment. To silence doubt, you must first recognize its nature. Doubt thrives on fear of failure, fear of rejection, fear of disappointment. It is a protective mechanism designed to keep you within the boundaries of your comfort zone. While this might seem like self-preservation, it often prevents you from growing, evolving, and experiencing the life you truly desire. By acknowledging doubt for what it is, a habitual response, not an inherent truth, you take the first step toward neutralizing its influence. Your imagination is the antidote to doubt. The mind cannot hold two opposing beliefs at once. When doubt whispers its limitations, you must counter it with the vivid, unwavering vision of your desired reality. Close your eyes and immerse yourself in the feeling of your wish fulfilled. Feel the joy, peace, and satisfaction of already having what you seek. This act of imagining is not a mere distraction. It is a deliberate realignment of your focus from what you fear to what you believe is possible. The more you practice this, the weaker doubt becomes, overshadowed by the strength of your vision. Doubt often feeds on evidence from the outer world. When you see no immediate change, or when circumstances seem contrary to your desires, doubt seizes the opportunity to grow. This is why it is crucial to prioritize your inner reality over the outer. Understand that the external world is a lagging indicator, reflecting your previous thoughts and feelings rather than your current intentions. By remaining steadfast in your inner belief, regardless of external appearances, you starve doubt of the validation it craves. Affirmations are a powerful tool for silencing doubt. They serve as declarations of your truth, statements that affirm your desired reality as though it were already here. When doubt arises, repeat affirmations that align with your vision. I am capable. I am worthy. My desires are unfolding perfectly. Speak these words, not as empty phrases, but with conviction, allowing them to resonate deeply within you. Over time, these affirmations reprogram your subconscious mind, replacing doubt with confidence and certainty. Another essential practice in silencing doubt is mindfulness. Doubt often thrives in a mind that is scattered, constantly replaying past failures or worrying about future outcomes. Mindfulness grounds you in the present moment, where doubt has no foothold. Through practices such as meditation or simply taking deep, conscious breaths, you can quiet the mental chatter and reconnect with the stillness within. In this stillness, the voice of doubt fades, revealing the clarity and wisdom of your true self. Action is a potent remedy for doubt. Often doubt paralyzes you, keeping you from taking the steps necessary to bring your desires to life. But action, no matter how small, builds momentum and reinforces belief. Each step you take toward your goal, even in the face of uncertainty, is a declaration of faith. With every action, you gather evidence of your capability and power, gradually silencing the voice of doubt with the undeniable proof of your progress. It is also important to guard your mental environment. Surround yourself with people, ideas, and influences that uplift and inspire you. Doubt thrives in negativity, feeding on criticism and pessimism. Seek out those who encourage your dreams, who believe in your vision, and who remind you of your potential. Consume content that aligns with the reality you wish to create: books, speeches, or conversations that reinforce your faith in yourself and the possibilities of life. Compassion for yourself is key in this process. There will be times when doubt feels overwhelming, when it seems to drown out your vision and shake your belief. In these moments, do not berate yourself for feeling uncertain. Instead, treat yourself with kindness and patience, understanding that doubt is part of the journey. Remind yourself that even the most confident individuals face doubt. What sets them apart is their willingness to persist despite it. Trust in the unseen forces that support you. Whether you call it the universe, divine intelligence, or your higher self, know that there is a power greater than doubt at work in your life. This power responds to your faith, your persistence, and your willingness to step beyond fear. When you align with it, doubt loses its grip, overshadowed by the infinite potential that flows through you. Silencing doubt is not about eliminating it entirely. It is about refusing to let it dictate your actions or beliefs. It is about choosing to believe in yourself and your vision, even when the path ahead seems unclear. With each moment of persistence, each act of faith, you weaken the hold of doubt and strengthen your connection to the life you are creating. Doubt may whisper, but your truth can roar louder. Trust in that truth and let it guide you toward the fulfillment of your deepest desires. To act from the future rather than the past is to step into the realm of creation. It is a conscious choice to align yourself with the reality you desire, rather than being tethered to the limitations of what has already occurred. Most people live their lives reacting to their past. Old memories, mistakes, and beliefs dictate their present actions and decisions. Yet the power to transform your life lies in recognizing that you are not bound by your past. Instead, you can choose to embody the version of yourself that already exists in the future you desire, allowing that vision to shape your actions in the present moment. Acting from the future requires a shift in perception. The mind often clings to the familiar because it equates the known with safety. This is why so many find themselves repeating the same patterns, unable to break free from cycles of doubt, fear, or limitation. But the future you long for does not lie in the repetition of the past. It is born from new thoughts, new emotions, and new actions. To act from the future means imagining yourself already living in the reality you wish to create, and allowing that vision to guide your every step. The key to acting from the future is to identify with it fully. This means letting go of the identity that ties you to past experiences and embracing the identity of the person you desire to become. If you seek to be successful, begin to think, feel, and behave as a successful person would. If you desire love, embody the qualities of someone who is deeply loved and loving. This is not pretense or wishful thinking. It is a deliberate act of creation. By aligning your present actions with your future self, you set into motion the forces that will bring your vision into reality. Your imagination is the bridge between your present and your future. When you vividly imagine yourself living your desired life, you are not merely daydreaming. You are accessing a higher level of consciousness where all possibilities exist. Close your eyes and see yourself already in possession of what you seek. Feel the emotions associated with that reality: joy, confidence, peace, or love. These feelings are the magnetic forces that draw your future into your present. The more you dwell in the state of your future self, the more your actions will naturally align with that reality. Acting from the future also requires a conscious decision to release the weight of the past. The past can feel like a heavy anchor, keeping you stuck in patterns that no longer serve you. Perhaps you've been conditioned to believe that certain dreams are unattainable or that your worth is determined by past failures. But these beliefs are illusions. The past has no power except the power you give it. To act from the future, you must forgive yourself and others for past mistakes, release regret, and free yourself from the narrative that you are limited by what has been. One of the challenges of acting from the future is overcoming the doubt and fear that arise when your current circumstances seem far removed from your desired reality. The outer world may try to convince you that change is impossible or that your dreams are unrealistic. But remember, the outer world is merely a reflection of your past inner state. It is not a predictor of your future. Trust in the unseen forces that respond to your intentions. Act as if your future is already here, even when external evidence is lacking. Your consistent belief and action will eventually align your outer world with your inner vision. Patience is a vital aspect of acting from the future. The process of creation unfolds in divine timing, often requiring you to persist in your belief and actions even when results are not immediate. Impatience is a sign of doubt, a signal that you are still tied to the idea that the present circumstances hold more power than your vision. Trust that every step you take from the perspective of your future self is a step closer to realizing that future. The seeds you plant today will bear fruit in due time. Acting from the future does not mean ignoring the present moment. On the contrary, it requires deep awareness and presence. It is about consciously choosing how you respond to your current circumstances, ensuring that your responses align with your desired reality rather than your old patterns. Each moment presents an opportunity to act from a place of creation rather than reaction. By doing so, you reinforce your connection to your future self and strengthen the bridge between your current and desired realities. Surround yourself with influences that support your vision. The environment you immerse yourself in can either reinforce your past or inspire your future. Seek out people, ideas, and experiences that reflect the reality you wish to create. When you expose yourself to these influences, you train your mind to see possibilities rather than limitations. This practice strengthens your ability to act from the future, as it keeps your vision alive and vibrant in your consciousness. To act from the future is to trust in your inherent power to create. It is a declaration that you are not a victim of your circumstances, but the architect of your reality. When you align your thoughts, emotions, and actions with your desired future, you bring that future into the present. This is not magic or wishful thinking, it is the natural law of creation. You become what you believe yourself to be. Act from the future, not the past, and watch as your life transforms to match the vision you hold within. Gratitude for the present moment is a profound practice that unlocks the fullness of life. It is the conscious choice to appreciate what is here and now, not as a result of circumstances, but as an acknowledgement of the inherent abundance within and around you. Gratitude is not merely about listing things you are thankful for. It is a shift in awareness, a deep connection to the present that allows you to see the beauty, value, and opportunities that exist even in the simplest moments. When you cultivate gratitude, you align yourself with the frequency of abundance. The world around you becomes a reflection of this inner state, offering you more to be grateful for. Gratitude is not dependent on what you have or lack. It is a state of being, independent of conditions. It invites you to stop waiting for some future event or possession to feel fulfilled, and instead opens your eyes to the richness of what already exists. It shifts your focus from what is missing to what is present. The human mind is often drawn to lack, constantly identifying what is wrong or incomplete. This focus creates feelings of frustration, dissatisfaction, and longing. But when you choose gratitude, you redirect your attention to what is already working in your life. This shift transforms your energy, moving you from a state of need to a state of fulfillment. By appreciating what you have now, you signal to the universe that you are ready to receive more. But the present moment is all you truly have, and gratitude anchors you to it. The past is a memory, the future a projection, only the now is real. Gratitude deepens your connection to this reality, reminding you that life unfolds in the here and now. When you embrace the present with gratitude, you become more aware of the small blessings that often go unnoticed: the warmth of the sun, the breath flowing through your body, the presence of a loved one. These seemingly ordinary moments take on extraordinary meaning when seen through the lens of gratitude. Also transforms challenges into opportunities for growth. Life is not without its struggles, and it is easy to fall into despair when faced with difficulties. Yet even in the midst of adversity, there is something to be grateful for. Challenges teach resilience, reveal inner strength, and often lead to unexpected blessings. When you approach hardship with gratitude, you shift your perspective from one of victimhood to one of empowerment. You begin to see that every experience, no matter how painful, carries a lesson or a gift. This practice of gratitude also nurtures inner peace. The constant striving for more success, more possessions, more recognition creates a sense of restlessness and inadequacy. Gratitude quiets this yearning, replacing it with contentment. It reminds you that you are enough, that your life is enough as it is in this moment. This does not mean you stop aspiring or growing, rather. It means you approach your desires from a place of abundance rather than lack. Is a bridge to connection, deepening your relationships with others. When you express genuine gratitude to the people in your life, you strengthen your bonds and foster mutual appreciation. Gratitude allows you to see the good in others, focusing on their positive qualities rather than their flaws. It opens your heart, making you more compassionate and understanding. This simple act of acknowledging the contributions of others enriches both your life and theirs, creating a ripple effect of positivity. A daily gratitude practice can be transformative. Begin and end your day by reflecting on what you are grateful for. This need not be a grand or time-consuming ritual. Even a few moments of sincere reflection can shift your energy. Write down 3 things you appreciate about your day, or silently express gratitude for the blessings in your life. Over time, this practice rewires your brain, training it to seek out the good in every situation. What you focus on expands, and gratitude ensures that your focus remains on abundance. Gratitude is also a powerful force in manifestation. When you express gratitude for your desires as though they are already fulfilled, you align yourself with the energy of receiving. This practice strengthens your belief in the reality of your vision and signals to the universe your readiness to embrace it. Gratitude bridges the gap between the present and the future, allowing you to act as though your desires are already yours. This attitude of gratitude accelerates the process of manifestation, drawing your dreams into your reality. It is important to note that gratitude is not about denying pain or pretending that everything is perfect. Life is a balance of joys and sorrows, and both have their place. Gratitude does not ask you to ignore the difficulties you face, but to look for the light within them. It is a recognition that even in darkness, there is something to be thankful for, a lesson, a moment of clarity, or the strength to persevere. Gratitude is not a denial of reality, but a deeper engagement with it. As you cultivate gratitude for the present, you begin to notice how rich your life already is. The practice shifts your energy, bringing you into alignment with joy, abundance, and peace. It opens your eyes to the countless blessings that surround you, reminding you that you are always supported, always provided for. Gratitude transforms your perspective, your energy, and ultimately your life. It is not just an emotion, but a way of being, a sacred acknowledgement of the beauty of the present moment. In embracing gratitude, we uncover the profound truth that life's beauty and abundance are always within our reach, no matter our circumstances. By shifting our focus from lack to fulfillment, from yearning to appreciation, we transform not only our outlook but our entire experience of reality. Gratitude anchors us in the present, the only moment where life truly unfolds, and it empowers us to see challenges as opportunities, relationships as blessings, and the ordinary as extraordinary. Let us choose to live each day with hearts open to gratitude, for it is through this practice that we align ourselves with peace, joy, and abundance. Gratitude is the lens through which we see the perfection of our lives, not in their absence of struggle, but in the presence of infinite possibilities. By making gratitude a way of life, we enrich ourselves, uplift those around us, and invite a future filled with even greater blessings. Thank you for joining me in this exploration of gratitude. May your journey forward be filled with appreciation, peace, and the fulfillment of all your desires. You must understand this one truth: you are the source of infinite worth. When someone chooses to walk away or dismisses your presence, they are not rejecting you, they are rejecting the gift you brought into their life. This gift, unique and irreplaceable, will not appear in the same form again. Your worth is not determined by the opinions, judgments, or validations of others. It is not shaped by the fleeting approval of those who fail to see your essence, nor is it tied to the temporary roles you play in their lives. Instead, your worth originates from within, a boundless reservoir of potential and uniqueness that only you can access. You are the creator of your worth, and its foundation lies in the way you perceive yourself. In every interaction, every relationship, and every decision you make, there exists a mirror reflecting how you view yourself. The world can only echo what you project outwardly. If you see yourself as small, undeserving, or incomplete, others will unconsciously mirror that belief back to you. But when you stand tall in the awareness of your inherent value, the world will shift in response. It is not arrogance to recognize your worth, it is an act of self-honor, a declaration to yourself and the universe that you are enough, just as you are. Too often, people surrender the authorship of their worth to external forces. They allow the praise or criticism of others to dictate how they feel about themselves. Yet, consider this: if the opinions of others can elevate you, they can also bring you crashing down. True power lies in detaching from such external influences and reclaiming your sense of self. No one knows the depth of your journey, the challenges you have overcome, or the light you bring to the world. Only you can truly grasp the magnitude of your worth, and only you can choose to embrace it fully. The act of creating your worth begins with your thoughts. The stories you tell yourself daily become the foundation upon which your value is built. If you repeat narratives of unworthiness, you reinforce a reality where you feel inadequate. But when you consciously affirm your worth, even in the face of doubt, you lay the groundwork for a life where you stand confidently in your power. Thoughts are seeds, and like any garden, the ones you nurture will flourish. Choose carefully what you plant in the soil of your mind. Your worth is also revealed in the boundaries you set. When you allow others to treat you in ways that diminish your value, you inadvertently signal that their behavior is acceptable. Boundaries are not acts of selfishness, they are declarations of self-respect. By honoring your limits, you teach others how to honor you. You show the world that you will not settle for less than what aligns with your sense of worth. It is crucial to understand that your worth is not tied to your achievements, possessions, or external markers of success. These things may enhance your experience, but they do not define you. Your worth exists simply because you exist. It is intrinsic and unchanging, regardless of circumstances. The more you internalize this truth, the less you will feel the need to prove yourself to others. When you create your worth from within, you become unshakable. Relationships no longer define your happiness, and setbacks no longer erode your confidence. You learn to walk away from people and situations that do not honor your value, not out of anger but from a place of self-respect. You no longer cling to what drains you, because you trust that your worth will attract what is meant for you. This realization transforms the way you move through the world. You begin to carry yourself differently, with a quiet assurance that does not need validation. Others will sense this energy, and they will either rise to meet you or fall away. Let them. The departure of those who cannot see your worth is not a loss but a clearing. It makes space for those who will honor and cherish you as you deserve. In creating your worth, you also inspire others to do the same. Your example becomes a beacon for those who have forgotten their own value. You show them what is possible when you embrace your uniqueness and stand firm in your truth. This ripple effect is one of the greatest gifts you can offer the world. Remember, you are not the reflection of what others think of you. You are the creator of your worth, a masterpiece in progress, constantly evolving and growing. Every step you take in embracing this truth strengthens the foundation of your self-esteem. No one can take that from you. So rise each day with the awareness that your worth is not something to be earned, it is something to be recognized and claimed. In doing so, you transform your life and the lives of those around you. You are the creator of your worth, and that is a power no one can ever diminish. The way you perceive yourself is the lens through which you view and interpret the world, and that perception shapes your reality in profound ways. Your thoughts about yourself act as a foundation upon which your experiences are built, influencing the choices you make, the opportunities you attract, and the relationships you nurture. When you truly understand this, you realize that the power to transform your life lies not in changing external circumstances, but in changing how you see yourself. Self-perception is not merely about how you feel in passing moments, it is a deeply ingrained belief system that dictates your actions and interactions. If you see yourself as limited, unworthy, or incapable, you unconsciously project those beliefs outward. These projections influence your behavior, causing you to shy away from opportunities, settle for less than you deserve, or allow others to treat you in ways that diminish your value. Conversely, when you perceive yourself as capable, deserving, and empowered, you radiate confidence and attract experiences that align with that belief. The connection between self-perception and reality is a powerful example of the mind's influence over life. Consider the placebo effect in medicine, where a patient's belief in a treatment's effectiveness can lead to genuine healing, even if the treatment itself has no active ingredients. Similarly, the belief you hold about yourself acts as a placebo for your life. When you believe you are capable, resilient, and deserving of success, you create an inner environment that fosters those outcomes. The influence of self-perception extends to the way you handle challenges and setbacks. If you see yourself as a victim of circumstances, difficulties will feel insurmountable, and you may succumb to feelings of helplessness. However, if you perceive yourself as resourceful and strong, even the most challenging situations become opportunities for growth. This shift in mindset can transform obstacles into stepping stones, allowing you to move forward with purpose and determination. Relationships are another area where self-perception plays a defining role. How you see yourself determines the types of relationships you attract and sustain. If you perceive yourself as unworthy of love or respect, you may tolerate unhealthy dynamics or settle for less than you deserve. On the other hand, a healthy self-perception enables you to set boundaries, communicate your needs, and attract people who honor and value you. The energy you bring to relationships is a direct reflection of how you feel about yourself, and others will often treat you accordingly. Opportunities in life are also deeply influenced by self-perception. When you see yourself as capable and deserving, you are more likely to pursue opportunities that align with your goals and passions. Confidence opens doors, not because the world is inherently fair, but because people respond to the energy of certainty and self-belief. On the contrary, if you doubt your abilities or worth, you may hesitate to take risks or accept opportunities, effectively closing doors before they even open. Once you become aware of limiting beliefs, you can begin to replace them with affirmations of your worth and potential. This process requires repetition and consistency, as new beliefs must be reinforced to take root. Surround yourself with environments, people, and experiences that uplift and support the perception of yourself that you wish to cultivate. The energy you allow into your life has a profound impact on how you see yourself and, in turn, on the reality you create. You are the architect of your reality, and self-perception is the blueprint. The beliefs you hold about yourself determine the quality of the life you build. When you choose to see yourself as capable, deserving, and empowered, you unlock a version of reality that reflects those truths. It is not the world that must change to fit your desires, it is your self-perception that must expand to embrace them. Detachment is one of the most profound and liberating powers you can cultivate in life. It is not about withdrawing from the world or abandoning your desires, rather. It is about releasing the need to control outcomes, people, and circumstances. Detachment is freedom, the ability to exist in the world without being enslaved by its fleeting nature. When you master the art of detachment, you unlock a state of inner peace and unshakable strength that allows you to navigate life with clarity and grace. At its core, Detachment is a shift in perspective. It is the realization that nothing external to you has the power to define your worth, happiness, or fulfillment. When you cling to outcomes or base your sense of self on external validation, you tether yourself to a cycle of anxiety and disappointment. Life is unpredictable, and people are not always consistent. By placing your happiness in things outside of yourself, you surrender your power to forces beyond your control. Detachment, however, allows you to reclaim that power. To practice detachment does not mean you stop caring. It means you stop over-identifying with the results of your efforts or the actions of others. You can still have goals, desires, and relationships, but detachment teaches you to engage with them from a place of balance. You do your best, invest your energy where it matters, and then release any obsessive attachment to how things unfold. This does not diminish your passion or commitment, it amplifies them, because your actions are no longer driven by fear or desperation. Also liberates you from the burden of pleasing others. When you are overly attached to how people perceive you, you shape your actions and decisions to meet their expectations. This creates a life of compromise, where you trade authenticity for acceptance. But when you detach from the need for external approval, you gain the freedom to live authentically. You become unapologetically yourself, allowing your true essence to shine without concern for how others may interpret it. So, in relationships, detachment is particularly transformative. It frees you from the pain of unmet expectations and the illusion of control. No matter how deeply you care for someone, you cannot dictate their feelings, choices, or actions. When you release the need to control others, you allow them the space to be themselves. This creates healthier, more balanced connections built on mutual respect rather than dependency. Detachment also empowers you to walk away when a relationship no longer serves your well-being, knowing that your worth is not tied to another person's presence in your life. One of the most challenging but essential aspects of detachment is letting go of past hurts and grievances. Many people carry the weight of old wounds, allowing them to dictate their present. But clinging to pain only prolongs suffering. Detachment invites you to release the emotional charge attached to these memories, not by denying them, but by acknowledging them and choosing to move forward. In letting go, you free yourself from the grip of the past and create space for new experiences. Detachment is not about indifference or avoidance, it is about empowerment. It is the ability to engage with life fully while remaining unshaken by its ups and downs. It is the quiet confidence that comes from knowing that your worth, happiness, and peace are not dependent on anything external. Detachment does not mean you abandon your desires, it means you trust that life will unfold as it should, and that you have the strength to thrive regardless of the outcome. When you master detachment, you discover a profound sense of freedom. You are no longer swayed by the chaos of the world or imprisoned by the fear of loss. Instead, you stand firmly rooted in the knowledge that you are enough, that you are whole, and that no external circumstance can diminish the power within you. This is the essence of detachment, and it is the key to a life of true peace and fulfillment. The law of reflection reveals a profound truth about life. The outer world is a mirror of your inner state. Everything you experience, every interaction, and every challenge is a reflection of your thoughts, beliefs, and emotions. This universal principle operates continuously, whether you are conscious of it or not. By understanding and embracing this law, you gain the ability to transform your reality, for the change always begins within. Life does not happen to you, it happens through you. The people and circumstances you encounter are not random but vibrational matches to the energy you carry within. If you are filled with doubt, insecurity, or fear, the world reflects those feelings back to you through challenging situations or difficult relationships. Conversely, when you cultivate confidence, love, and gratitude within yourself, your external reality aligns with those higher vibrations, bringing opportunities, harmonious relationships, and abundance. The law of reflection is not about blame or guilt, but about awareness and responsibility. It invites you to look within and recognize that you are the creator of your experiences. If you find yourself in recurring patterns of struggle or conflict, it is an indication that something within you needs attention. Life is not punishing you, it is showing you what needs healing or adjustment. By facing these reflections with honesty and courage, you can uncover the root causes of your challenges and begin the process of transformation. Consider relationships as one of the most powerful arenas where the law of reflection plays out. The way others treat you often mirrors how you treat yourself. If you notice people disrespecting you or taking you for granted, ask yourself whether you have been setting boundaries or valuing your own worth. Similarly, if you find yourself attracting nurturing and supportive people, it is likely a reflection of the love and respect you hold for yourself. Relationships act as mirrors, offering insight into your self-perception and emotional state. This principle also extends to your goals and desires. If you are struggling to manifest something in your life, the delay often reflects inner resistance or limiting beliefs. For example, if you desire financial abundance but carry subconscious beliefs that money is scarce or that you are undeserving, those beliefs will manifest as obstacles. The outer reality reflects your inner doubts until you address and replace them with empowering beliefs. The key is not to force change in the outer world, but to align your inner world with what you desire. Challenges and adversities are reflections as well, though they may not be immediately recognizable as such. When life presents difficulties, it is often showing you areas where growth is needed. A challenging situation might be a reflection of unresolved fears, a lack of clarity, or an opportunity to strengthen your resilience. These moments, though uncomfortable, are not punishments, they are invitations to evolve. By approaching them with curiosity instead of resistance, you can uncover the lessons they hold. Taking responsibility for your reflections does not mean you must shoulder the blame for every difficulty. Instead, it means recognizing your power to influence your reality. The outer world is a feedback system, not a fixed destiny. If you do not like what you see, you have the ability to change it, not by controlling others or forcing outcomes, but by shifting your inner state. As you heal, grow, and elevate your energy, the world around you begins to transform in response. One of the most empowering aspects of the law of reflection is that it puts the focus back on what you can control yourself. You do not need to wait for others to change, for circumstances to improve, or for opportunities to appear. When you align with the energy of what you desire, life reflects that alignment back to you. This is why inner work is so essential. It is not merely a means of coping with life's challenges, it is the foundation for creating the life you truly want. The law of reflection is both humbling and empowering. It reminds you that you are not separate from the world you experience, you are intricately connected to it. Your thoughts, emotions, and beliefs ripple outward, shaping the mirror of your reality. By embracing this truth, you can stop seeing life as something that happens to you and start seeing it as a reflection of your inner being. Change the reflection by changing yourself, and you will discover the profound power you hold to create a life of purpose, joy, and fulfillment. In the rush of daily life, we are constantly bombarded with noise, opinions, expectations, demands, and judgments. We tend to fill every moment with conversation, trying to express ourselves or seek validation. But in doing so, we often miss the opportunity for deeper connection and understanding. Silence, in contrast, offers a reprieve from this noise. It creates space for reflection, self-awareness, and authentic connection. When you allow moments of silence to fill your life, you open the door to a more profound way of being. Silence speaks loudly because it allows us to listen not just to others, but to ourselves. In a conversation, we often listen with the intent to respond rather than to understand. We think about what we will say next, and in doing so, we fail to truly hear what the other person is saying. Silence, however, encourages us to listen deeply. When you give yourself the gift of silence, you can hear the subtle messages that your mind and body are sending you. It is in these quiet moments that clarity arises. You begin to hear your own thoughts and desires more clearly, free from the noise of external distractions. Silence fosters introspection, allowing you to better understand your true feelings, motivations, and needs. Silence also enhances our ability to truly listen to others. When we are quiet and present, we create an environment in which others feel heard and understood. In the absence of interruptions or judgments, people are more likely to open up and share their authentic selves. Silence can therefore be a powerful tool in fostering connection and trust. It demonstrates that we value the person in front of us and are willing to give them the space to express themselves fully. Another way silence speaks louder than words is in the realm of non-verbal communication. Much of what we communicate is not expressed through spoken language, but through our body language, facial expressions, and energy. In fact, studies suggest that a large portion of communication is non-verbal. A look, a gesture, or the way someone holds themselves can speak volumes without a single word being said. Silence, in this sense, amplifies these non-verbal cues, allowing us to communicate on a deeper level. Sometimes a simple silence shared between two people can convey more emotion and understanding than any words could. Silence can communicate empathy, love, respect, and understanding in ways that words often fail to do. Silence also provides a powerful means of self-expression. Sometimes the most profound things are those that cannot be articulated. When we are faced with intense emotions or experiences that feel too overwhelming to put into words, silence can serve as a form of release. In moments of grief, joy, or awe, words may seem inadequate to fully express the depth of our feelings. In these instances, silence speaks louder because it allows us to process and feel without the pressure to explain. It allows us to be in the moment, to experience and express through our presence without the need for verbal validation. Furthermore, silence allows for reflection, a key component of personal growth and transformation. When we are constantly speaking or surrounded by noise, we have little opportunity to pause and assess where we are in life. Silence offers the space to evaluate our actions, choices, and direction. It gives us the opportunity to step back and consider our path, to assess whether we are living in alignment with our values and desires. This reflective quality of silence can lead to significant insights and breakthroughs that words alone cannot bring. Silence is also a form of strength. In moments of conflict or tension, choosing silence rather than reacting impulsively demonstrates a deep inner control. Instead of rushing to defend yourself or prove a point, silence allows you to remain grounded and centered. In this way, silence can be a response in itself, one that carries wisdom, self-assurance, and emotional maturity. By holding your peace, you assert your boundaries and communicate that you are not governed by external forces or the need to engage in unnecessary drama. Silence is often more effective than words. Words can be misinterpreted or manipulated, but silence holds a purity that cannot be distorted. In a partnership, there are times when words are insufficient, when saying anything would only disrupt the delicate balance. In these moments, silence allows for healing, understanding, and connection to take place. A shared silence can create a sense of intimacy that words may struggle to achieve. It signifies that both individuals are in tune with each other, and that they do not need words to feel understood or loved. Silence speaks louder than words because it communicates depth, presence, and authenticity. It allows for reflection, connection, and understanding in ways that words often cannot. By embracing silence, you create space for true listening, self-awareness, and emotional expression. It is a powerful tool that can transform your relationships, your inner world, and your ability to communicate with yourself and others. In the quiet moments of life, you find the wisdom, strength, and clarity to move forward with grace and purpose. Regret is often seen as a painful reminder of missed opportunities or actions that didn't align with our values. However, regret is not merely an emotion to be avoided. It is a powerful catalyst for growth, transformation, and increased awareness. It is the result of reflecting on past decisions and recognizing the lessons they offer. Regret, when approached with a mindset of growth, can lead to profound self-awareness. As you grow more aware of your past actions, behaviors, and choices, regret becomes less about dwelling in sorrow and more about evolving into a wiser, more mindful person. It grows in awareness because it arises from the realization of the gap between our past actions and the ideal version of ourselves we wish to embody. In every moment, we are given choices, and the outcomes of those choices often serve as mirrors of our inner state. When we choose actions that do not align with our higher self, regret can appear as a feeling of dissonance and misalignment between who we were in that moment and who we wish to become. This recognition creates the fertile ground for growth because it offers us an opportunity to reflect, learn, and make different choices in the future. Awareness is the key to turning regret into something transformative. Without awareness, regret is simply a fleeting emotion that passes without leaving a lasting impact. However, when we become aware of the deeper reasons behind our regret, we are given the chance to uncover the beliefs, fears, or patterns that influenced our decisions. Regret, in this sense, is not an isolated feeling, it is part of a larger process of self-discovery. The more aware we become of the underlying causes of our regret, the more we can address these issues and change the trajectory of our lives moving forward. Often we find ourselves regretting decisions that were made out of fear or a lack of self-belief. When we choose from a place of insecurity or doubt, the results often do not align with our true desires. This is where awareness becomes crucial, recognizing that many of our past regrets stem from a lack of trust in our abilities or the fear of facing challenges. Once we become aware of these underlying patterns, we can choose to act with more courage and conviction. We can stop allowing fear to dictate our choices and begin making decisions that reflect our true values and desires. As awareness grows, we begin to see that regret is not an inherently negative emotion, but a signpost pointing us toward deeper understanding. In relationships, for instance, regret may arise from things left unsaid, actions left undone, or love not fully expressed. As we reflect on these moments, we gain insight into our communication styles, emotional needs, and the dynamics that shape our connections with others. Awareness of how we show up in relationships can help us heal and improve the way we interact with those we love, making us more empathetic, open, and vulnerable. Often reveals the gaps between our current state and our desired future. It pushes us to acknowledge the areas of our life where we feel unfulfilled or disconnected from our true purpose. This awareness opens the door to change, prompting us to reassess our goals, values, and priorities. When we see clearly the difference between where we are and where we want to be, regret becomes a motivator for change. It pushes us to align our actions with our deepest desires, ensuring that the path forward is in harmony with who we truly are. Awareness allows us to recognize that the future is not predetermined by our past. Just because we regret certain actions or decisions does not mean that we are doomed to repeat them. The growth in awareness enables us to see patterns in our behavior and take conscious steps to break free from them. We can choose new paths, redefine our values, and take bold action to create the future we want. Regret, when acknowledged and understood, becomes the soil in which new intentions are planted, leading to greater fulfillment and peace. Regret grows in awareness because it is a product of reflecting on our past choices with a deeper understanding. It serves as a mirror of our inner beliefs, fears, and desires, helping us become more in tune with our authentic self. When approached with awareness, regret is not something to avoid, but something to embrace, as it holds the key to greater self-awareness and personal growth. Through this awareness, we can learn from our past, make wiser choices, and move forward with greater clarity, compassion, and purpose. The journey of embracing regret as a tool for growth is an essential part of our evolution, leading us toward a more fulfilled and conscious life. You are irreplaceable. This simple truth holds a deep and powerful meaning that resonates with every aspect of your life. In a world where we often find ourselves comparing to others or feeling as though we need to prove our worth, it's easy to forget that there is no one else like you. Your experiences, thoughts, emotions, and presence in this world are unique. No one else can fill the exact role you play in the lives of those around you or in the grand design of the universe. The idea that you are irreplaceable comes from recognizing the incredible individuality that exists within you. The combination of your personality, your history, your values, and your vision for the future is something that no one can replicate. Even in the moments when you feel small, overlooked, or unnoticed, you are still an essential and irreplaceable part of the world. Your specific energy, your perspective, and your way of thinking are valuable beyond measure. Each person carries within them a distinct set of experiences, challenges, and triumphs. These life experiences shape the way you perceive the world and how you interact with others. No one else has walked your path, faced your struggles, or celebrated your victories in the same way. It is through these personal experiences that you gain wisdom, resilience, and empathy, which are qualities that cannot be duplicated by anyone else. The way you respond to life, how you carry yourself through hardship, and the love you give to others are aspects that make you irreplaceable. In the relationships you cultivate, whether with family, friends, or romantic partners, your uniqueness is woven into every connection. The way you show up for others, the comfort and support you offer, and the special moments you create are irreplaceable. Every conversation, every shared laugh, every moment of vulnerability adds something valuable to the fabric of those relationships. Without you, these connections would not exist in the same way. People can have many friends, colleagues, or loved ones, but no one else can be you for them. You are the only person who can offer the specific love, attention, and presence that you bring to their lives. This irreplaceability is not just about what you give to others, but about how you impact the world around you. Every action you take, whether big or small, ripples out and creates an effect. It's easy to dismiss our daily actions as insignificant, but in reality they are powerful. Whether you're smiling at a stranger, offering a kind word, or simply being present in the moment, you contribute to the world in ways you may never fully understand. Your presence brings a certain energy into every room, every conversation, and every situation. This energy is yours alone, and it cannot be replicated. At the core of being irreplaceable is the recognition that your worth does not lie in the approval or validation of others. In a society that often measures worth by external success, achievements, or popularity, it's easy to forget that true value comes from within. You are irreplaceable because of who you are, not because of what you do or how others perceive you. The most important relationship you will ever have is the one you cultivate with yourself. When you begin to understand and honor your own worth, you realize that you do not need to seek validation or comparisons to others. Your existence is a gift, and that alone makes you irreplaceable. In moments of doubt or insecurity, it's important to return to this truth, that you are irreplaceable, not because of what you can do for others or how others view you, but because of the inherent value you hold simply by being yourself. The uniqueness you bring to the world is beyond measure, and no one can ever replace the essence of who you are. Even in times when you feel unseen, you are still contributing to the world in ways you may not even realize. Sometimes the struggle to see your own irreplaceability comes from comparing yourself to others. You may find yourself feeling inadequate or inferior when you see someone else's accomplishments or qualities that you admire. But comparison is an illusion. The reality is that you, with all of your strengths, weaknesses, dreams, and fears, are one of a kind. No one can offer the same combination of qualities and experiences that you can. When you embrace this truth, you stop measuring your worth by someone else's standards and begin to recognize your own inherent value. As you journey through life, the most empowering thing you can do is to remember that you are irreplaceable. Your journey is yours alone, and the impact you make on the world is uniquely yours to create. You will encounter moments where you feel lost or uncertain, but remember, those are only temporary. The world needs you just as you are, with all of your imperfections and strengths. Your presence, your actions, your options, your love, and your authenticity are irreplaceable. Every day, you are making a difference in ways you may never fully see, and that's the power of being irreplaceable. The realization that you are irreplaceable is liberating. It frees you from the constant need to prove yourself, to compare yourself, or to seek external validation. It allows you to walk through life with confidence, knowing that you are exactly as you are meant to be. You do not need to change to be valuable. You do not need to fit into anyone else's mold. You are unique, you are powerful, and you are irreplaceable. In embracing this truth, you give yourself permission to live fully and authentically. When you understand your irreplaceable nature, you stop living in the shadow of others and start shining as your true self. The world is waiting for you just as you are. Don't let anyone convince you otherwise. You are irreplaceable, and that is your greatest strength. In conclusion, understanding and embracing the truth that you are irreplaceable can be one of the most empowering realizations of your life. Your unique qualities, experiences, and perspectives make you a one-of-a-kind presence in this world. Every action you take, every relationship you nurture, and every moment you live contributes to the beauty and richness of existence in ways you may not always see. By recognizing your irreplaceability, you can stop comparing yourself to others and begin to live fully in your own truth, honoring your worth without seeking external validation. Remember, you are exactly as you are meant to be, and that is enough. Thank you for embracing your irreplaceable self and for sharing your energy with the world. Keep shining brightly. Your presence is a gift,